All right, hello and welcome everyone to EncounterCon. We are here playing some Blades in the Dark. My name is Speedy, or Not So Speedruns. It's good to have all of you here. I need to mute the stream. Classic streamer gaff. It's good to see everyone here. We are going to be playing a game called Blades in the Dark today. This is what hour is this on EncounterCon right now? I don't even know. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. But good to see all you faces in chat. We are here playing Blades in the Dark. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the game of Blades, it is a dark fantasy industrial city. Our players play as scoundrels, just trying to get by in a world that generally doesn't care about them. The world is like one that you would find in Dungeons and Dragons if you were to take that world and put it through an apocalypse where you absolutely destroy everything to the ground, shatter the mirror of death that allows people to pass on to the next life, and destroy the sun in the sky, leaving only a cracked vision of stars above. In all of this madness, people turn inwards. They build cities. They build walls. They keep out the horrors of the night, the ghosts of the past, and gigantic demons of the sea known as Leviathans. These Leviathans, in their power and mysterious nature, people discovered that their blood itself was powerful, that it could be used to power the city. They could harvest these giant creatures to fuel the lightning barriers that keep them safe, to fuel electric devices, to light this city that is eternally trapped in dusk. So, as we go ahead and get started here, I want to remind everyone we have some fantastic sponsors for this show. They're going to be linked in chat. We also have viewer decisions in play, so if you guys retweet the tweet that is out there right now, if we hit 20 retweets, we will be having a viewer decision where you guys can affect what happens. This is a little thing called the Phantom Facades. These players are going to be visiting a masquerade ball. And I'll let them go ahead and start by introducing themselves, starting with the person directly to my right over at Ninja Pseudo.
Hi.
Who are you and who are you playing?
So I'm Eddie Freeman, also known as Ninja Pseudo on all the socials, and I am playing well, he's known as the Whispers, and he is a spider, a mastermind of plans and machinations. He grew up in an orphanage, in fact, with the lovely Petra, aka Smokes. Introduce yourselves more fully. And yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you wrote a lot of backstory for this, and I'm very excited for it.
We went a little bit over.
It's fine. I do that too. For like every one-shot character, I get way too emotionally attached. I was crying at the end of the last one-shot I did during the Blood Plague last night. All right. 4. Tell us who you are and who you're playing.
Me? Well, of course. My name is 4. And I am eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I am playing Bullock, a Aruvian cutter. He worked at the Aruvian consulate in Duskfall, but for unknown reasons, he is now resorting to crime. And that is as far as I can really tell you. He's good at beating people up, he's big, he's muscly, and he looks like this. And I'm really excited to play in Blades in the Dark. I hope everybody forgives me. I just came off a mouse guard. I'm really goofy. Mouse guard is cute. I have to get dark and serious.
Very serious. I think like the amount of like tired that you should be after running mouse guard twice should be like enough to bring you down a little bit.
Since 4 a.m. Time to get Bladesy.
Time to get blazy. Time to get dark. All right, Madame, why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing?
Hello, I play a character called Suri, and she is a master slide and manipulator.
Which also means that she can talk like this, or maybe possibly talk like this, or just absolutely gets into any character and role necessary to get the job done. She came from a pretty happy family, but they were very poor. And unfortunately, her younger sister got very sick, and so now she will do anything that is required to get the money to help her sister recover from this, like, black lung sort of... I've got the black lung pops! Like, whatever illness it is that their family has no idea. And yeah, so she learned very quickly that she can manipulate and persuade and rig a game of cards.
Excellent.
And makes by. Also drinks a lot, but we won't talk about that yet.
I'm sure that'll come up. Going to a party. All right, Louise, tell us who you are and who you're playing. That lovely name.
Hello. Yes, I'm playing Mabel Marlowe. She's a lovely old lady. She has absolutely no problems with her. She's not strange or weird in any form. She's just here, happy to help. I've been invited to this I don't get out much, you see, and I've been invited to a party, and I'm very excited about it. Hi, I'm Louise.
Perfect.
It's a good start. Good
Yeah,
start.
This
We've
is a
already
serious game. I'm a very serious movie, you can tell from here.
She's perfect.
And it's just coincidence that we happen to make orphans.
Yeah. Two characters made orphans. One person made an orphanage owner.
I don't technically own an orphanage. And you'll find out what it is that I own soon enough.
Uh-oh.
It's just orphans. You just own orphans.
I'm just already hearing the, like, in this life, one thing counts in the bank large amounts. I'm like hearing all of it already. Fagin.
Oh no.
Gotta collect them all.
My alias is Fagin. Oh.
I was curious.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Petra. Tell us who you are and who you're playing.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Petra. You can find me on Twitter at pfolkhaus. I'm going to post that in the chat in a bit. And today I'm playing Smoke, who is a whisper, so someone who's an adept of the arcane and a channeler. And as was mentioned before, Smoke grew up together with whispers at an orphanage on the... Is it the Dagger Isle or the
Isles? Yeah.
The Dagger Isles, okay.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that.
Turn around. And then, but she got lucky when she was 12. She got adopted by two really cool gentlemen who took her to the other island, which name I always forget, were...
Akaros. I don't know the name of the island.
Akaros. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you went. Akaros is like the empire.
Like backstory.
Yeah.
You, good place.
Yeah, the biggest island where,
yeah,
you know, and yeah, so she was lucky, and then her dads are archaeologists, but she never had sort of the patience for all the academic stuff, so instead she became a relic hunter at some point. So basically, kind of your female indie, but instead of using a whip and her fists, she uses her natural affinity for the supernatural. Talking to ghosts, connecting to ghosts, and yeah. But then, unfortunately, her last job, she got a little bit too greedy. Most of her jobs were legit, sort of, finding artifacts for maybe a university or a museum. But she got a bit of a taste for good food and good clothes, like all this stuff she didn't have as an orphan. And so her last job, she actually took on a private contract, sort of getting an artifact for some rich folks, but instead of delivering it, she used it for her own purposes, angering that certain person, because in the process of using it, she also destroyed the artifact. And so she turned to her old friend Whispers to get off Dagger off the Dagger Isles. Dagger Island. I get it at some point. And so after not having seen each other for many years, and sort of not really, things being awkward because she kind of vanished after she was adopted, the team got back together and they took on a few jobs. And I guess at some point they ran into Mabel, who was like, "Oh, orphans, little orphans for me."
Oh man.
But
maybe she's
that
that
is
mysterious figure that we talked about.
It could be.
Yeah,
But basically Smoke got into the more illegal stuff in exchange for protection from that guy she angered very much when she destroyed that artifact. So not really a full hardy criminal by choice, but hey, gotta take what you get.
Indeed.
Excellent. All right, so I want to probe into that a little bit. I'm glad we did this character thing in this order. So you, in coming back to Duskfall, are trying to pay off your debts for this relic, and as a result, you kind of took on this mysterious patron who's offering to aid you in that by giving you jobs. You listed them as only L.
Exactly.
I'm curious as to how does that person usually contact you for a job?
Through someone else. I would say I would say that I would say that I once heard their voice. I just realized it's first time playing Blades. I'm not yet 100% familiar with the setting. Do we have cars or do we have carriages?
Ooh. Carriages pulled by goats. Big old,
really big goats,
really big
goats.
They're like
they're like
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that at the beginning. It's very important. There are goats.
It's the most important thing. It's really that you didn't mention it. There are massive goats in the city. And a side note, I sent you this article earlier. Goats are scientifically proven to be happier when you smile.
Oh.
I recently read.
That's a fun fact. I didn't.
Then I once heard the voice of this mysterious person L through the half open door of a carriage pulled by two beast goats. But I never saw. I think it was a deep voice. But I've never seen L in person. Most of the times he just sends one of their lackeys to talk to me and say, "Hey, I've got a new job for you." And I hope that I actually will at some point come to the point where the guy that I anger because I destroyed his artifact. By the way, I destroyed it to save someone who's very dear to me. It had minor magical properties. In the process of doing so, I destroyed it. And so I just hope that eventually that guy doesn't care about that anymore, what I did, and stop trying to kill me so that I can get out of all of this, having to work for L.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So when he sends these lackeys, as you call them, to you, is it the same person every time? Is it a variety of different people? Do you ever see the same face twice?
Yeah. There's this fancy looking guy with a top hat I've seen numerous times. Although he gives me a different name every time. I don't know why he does that. The first time he introduced himself as Charlie, and then the next time he said he's Jeremy. I'm convinced it's always the same person, because it was same top hat, same sort of vest, and fancy looking kind of. But yeah, I would say in total I've seen 3 or 4 different people, but most of the time I see this Charlie, Jeremy, Jason type guy that I think is the same person.
Okay. So this is now a question for everyone at the table. how do you guys know each other? How do you guys work together? Do you have? Where is your lair? I guess.
Ooh.
Do you guys hang out and like scheme things together in a room somewhere?
Maybe Mabel's apartment, where it smells of old people and dust and old carpets.
Yeah, I like this.
Yes.
And she has her own little house with like a basement and stuff like that, and we just gather in the basement to do our machinations, and then she has a whole like tea space in the front or something like that, you know.
Yes, I will provide tea and biscuits.
We have a front.
I had this image, you know, we're all killers, assassins, and then you serve us tea in fancy cups and
And it's always PG tips.
Yes. All I really tips, only tea. Only tea for my orphans.
I have some of that in the closet.
Okay, so you all are in Mabel's basement, doing whatever it is that you do, and there is a knock on the cellar door, a quick rapping of what sounds like a piece of wood or a cane on the door. Who would like to answer?
Everybody, hide and be silent. Auntie Mabel's going to sort this out. To hobble over to the door.
I haven't finished playing the cards.
Then put the cards down.
I have a really good hand. It always happens the worst time.
But it really does. Very inconvenient.
Well, what can you do?
Like cracks his knuckles. Just loud enough so that everybody can just know that he's there.
I want to go up to the door and be like, hello? Who is there?
It is I, Cornelius. Good to see you again. Old Mabel, is smoke within?
One moment. Smoke.
I'm lounging somewhere in the back on an old sofa, you know, one leg up on the table, and just okay, coming. I'm getting up, walking over to the door.
There's a person at the door for you. Would you like to shoot
All right. Not yet. Let me. Perhaps there's always a chance for some shooting. Let me see first who it is. And then
somebody's in trouble.
It will be you if you carry on this way.
Now, let's not escalate things
going to see.
quickly.
I'm going to see who it is.
All right. So you open the door, and looking up through the cellar door, you can see standing there is this familiar top-hatted figure, now calling himself Cornelius, and aside him is another person, one that you don't recognize. He looks not nearly as clean and as regal. He looks almost like, I want to say like professional, almost like a professor, almost, with like a kind of worn brown suit and balding gray kind of messy hair, and Cornelius addresses you. Smoke, lovely to see you. I have work from the generous elf.
Charlie, good friend, good to see you.
It's Cornelius, darling.
Cornelius, of course. Well, what is it today? And who is your friend?
May we speak inside?
Of course. And I look back, I say, Mabel, is it alright with you if the gentlemen step in for a moment?
I suppose so.
From downstairs. Do we have another guest for tea?
Yes, please put the kettle on, Whispers.
Can we add crumpets?
Okay.
All right, I can't say no to you.
Well, look.
So yeah, I do give. Well, this is going on in the background. I do give the the new persons of the ones over, you said that he looks like a sort of like a hand-me-down professor sort of kind of type. Is there anything that would make me?
Yeah.
Does he look harmless in general, or is there anything that would sort of get me suspicious in any way?
I'll say looking at him, some of the, I don't know, the like accoutrements that he has, you notice he actually has a spirit hook at his side.
A what?
A spirit hook. So he's likely a whisper. It's like the weapon that whispers generally use to harvest ghost souls. But yeah, he looks like he's likely a whisperer, but a bit academic too.
Yeah, and I would probably, in general, feel good about his academic, sort of appearance.
He looks a little ratty for an academic, but for sure he looks, more professional than the average man on the street.
Yeah, I mean, through my dads, who are both academics, I've probably run into all sorts of... But anyway, I'm stepping back and sort of offering both of them to come in.
Whispers walks up with a tray of tea into the kind of front room with a coffee table. Like, the tea is ready. Everyone have a seat.
And Sooty will come up behind him with a plate of crumpets, one placed not so carefully in her mouth. Butter kind of dripping a little bit down her chin as she places the warm crumpets next to the tea.
Yeah, Smoke will reach over and sort of wipe that drool off with the end of her sleeve. Watch out there, darling.
Appreciate it.
So I close the door behind them and make yourselves at home, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. Don't worry, I won't be staying long. Well, this right here is an associate of mine and mine employer. His name is Crypt, or at least that is what you may call him. There is a task of interest that Crypt would be able to inform you more on than I shall. In fact, I think it's best if I am not here to be implicated in whatever it is that he may be telling you. So, I will take my leave, if that is all right with you. And Crypt just sort of like...
One tea to go, please.
Yes,
one tea to go.
Take a biscuit with you.
He, Cornelius just like grabs a teacup and just like downs the entire thing in a single gulp. It's like, all right, toodaloo, lovely to see you, Smoke, and walks right back out the door. And you're left alone in this room with Crypt. Looks a little bit kind of not quite nervous, but like awkward, where like he doesn't quite know what to say or how to interact around you. He's kind of waiting for you to say something.
I would offer him a sort of gesture towards like the sofa that I was sitting on earlier and say, have a seat, have a tea, have a biscuit.
Whispers would walk to the door as the other gentleman, Cornelius, I believe, would leave, and as I closed the door, I said, "Welcome. Let us get down to business."
Right. So, I have some work, part of Elle's prerogative and part of, my own and my own organizations. There's going to be a masquerade ball soon, a moonlight masquerade in Silkshore. It's quite the event, though I've never been myself, but there's someone there who's going to need you to kill.
Dead or alive?
God.
I've been told that you are experts in this, right?
Dead. Or alive.
I guess we are. What do you say, guys?
I'd say we're probably
There's-
the most expert in this entire goddamn city. And I know, because I taught you.
Yeah, don't you
see.
And I
guys
learned
do
it
it,
from
maybe?
back in my day when we were assassinating people. It was so much more simple, you know. There wasn't none of this. Oh, let me come over to your house with my friend, and then like, oh, I think there's a masquerade
Come on,
ball and
we've
all
talked
secrecy.
about
No,
this.
you just said I want to kill Jimmy, and we were like, yes, we will. It's much more simple.
I'm afraid the straightforward approach doesn't quite apply here. That's why I came to you, and especially you, Smoke, since I know you have abilities of your own.
There are ways.
I briefly look at his closed hook and just nod and say, so, you know, killing someone during a masquerade ball is not exactly, you know, it's all out there. Why does it have to be during that event?
We want it to be public. Let me
see.
explain.
You want it to be a spectacle?
To an extent.
Then you may have come
there's-
to the right crew.
There's a man. His name is Orlin Rowan. You might not recognize his name, but you might recognize the family that he's a part of. The Rowans are noble and one of the oldest families in the city. The Rowan household in Six Towers is one of the biggest landmarks there. If you've ever been there, it's the castle. It's impossible to miss. But Orlin is he's not the head of the household. He's more of a dilettante. He mostly engages in all sorts of lascivious activities, drugs, and the lot. The full gambit, really. But he recently acquired some narcotic, something that is new to the market that we would like squashed out. It's called Radiance, and it's spiritual in nature.
So you want us
I
to
see.
take out the competition, as it were.
It's not so much competition.
I don't like the
He's-
fact that it's spiritual. Could you explain a bit more? I don't like the sound of that.
We're not quite sure. But it seems like whatever this drug is made from spirits of the dead.
Well, that's not good.
Quick question.
And what does...
Oh, sorry. If this is a masquerade ball, how are we going to know which person this person is? I mean, everybody's going to be wearing masks. Makes the target a little harder to find.
That's a very good point. And further to that point, how will everybody else know who we're killing? They'll be like, oh, they killed Johnson. And actually, we killed Mark.
And you never want to
Well-
stab a Luke, you know?
No,
Stabbing
no,
Luke
I've
would be a
done that
very
many
bad
times.
idea.
It is. I remember when I did that back in '92 when I stabbed Luke. My goodness. Well, we didn't ever hear the end of that for years.
Yes, you've told this story many times before, Mabel.
Yes.
But you do have a
It
point.
gets a little old after the 7th time.
Can't you not use the ghost field to tell who's who? If this drug is spiritual, surely you will see something. That
That
alone.
would
perhaps-
work. Maybe if it weren't for the fact that it's likely that there will be more than just him at this party who is partaking in this drug.
So hang
That is a
on,
fair
are we
point.
killing just him or everyone that's taking the drug? Because that's a lot of
Just him.
paperwork and also a lot more money.
He's the
Insurance
one
is
who's
a bitch,
been
you know.
popularizing it and spreading it. We don't know where it is that he's getting these drugs from, but however it is, he's been spreading them at parties like these for some time. His reputation among those circles is known. Though
What
the connection
exactly-
between his masquerade persona and his own is, you're not quite sure.
What exactly does this drug do? How would we recognize if somebody is under the influence of it?
Yeah, do they get twitchy? Do they get slow? Do they get extra hyperactive? What's the deal?
From what we can tell,
Going by the name.
the results are elation, some kind.
Oh.
It might be hard to tell just by looking at someone whether they have it, though if you look in the ghost field, you might be able to.
Oh, I don't like to look in the
Is that-
spooky fields. Ugh.
Well, that's why I'm doing that.
That is what smoke does. She
Well, I guess if
sees
somebody
all.
took something. Well, not all, but a lot. And I guess if somebody took it, and I look a little bit deeper, something should ping on my radar. But to come back to the question of making sure we're taking care of the right person, is there anything? Do you have any information that would help us to the effect of?
Do you know their mask, for instance? Or perhaps anything about their outfit or even their height, their hair color?
Do they
Identifying marker.
Unfortunately, we don't have much.
do
We
you have
know
his
what they
preference?
look like usually, but they seem to change their look. It's fairly common among masquerades like these for people to really want to conceal their appearance. Most
you at
will
least have a
even go so far as
name?
putting dye in their hair. Sorry?
Do you have a name? Do you at least have a name? Something we can go off of?
His true name
Please
is Orlin Rowan.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes.
Sorry, my memory is not what it used to be.
Or
No, good thing if you repeated that because
You're always
Oh,
forgetting
right.
things in there.
Oh, I do. Never forget how to kill a man, though.
Out of character, if this is so this is a really big influential family, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, so that maybe there's a chance that we would have seen their faces in the paper thing.
You might have seen faces of other Rowans in the paper, but Orlin Rowan isn't like a very public figure in that regard. Like his only real like notability is sort of in these underground circles of masquerade balls and pleasure dens and that sort of thing. So it wouldn't be. He's not someone who would be widely publicized.
Okay.
Well,
I guess then we have to do the social thing and talk to people.
Not to worry, I have
Yeah.
ways of finding out information about people.
Well,
Not about
before we
finding.
accept your little dealy-majig, what's the money situation? We don't kill for free, you know. You'll be hard-pressed to find an assassin group that will kill for free these days. I mean, back in
Noble's
my
always
day,
about
we
the
did get
money.
people that did this for the fun of it, but they're all gone now.
payment is dependent
Have another cup
on
of tea, maybe.
how well you
Can I-
complete the job.
I'd like at least a deposit. But I've had many of these. Payment would be decided once you've killed the man, and then I kill the man, and then there's no payment. And
I
have to kill
absolutely
that
agree,
person.
especially-
It just makes this whole cobweb of murder.
You always
Especially
get the
since
payment up
it's
front.
going to be a murder on a stage.
We are killing your competitor. This Radiance is such a threat. There should be no problem. Give her something to start with.
I'm gonna need someone to roll me sway or consort.
Ooh,
Can I roll command?
Ooh, yeah. You can roll command. If someone else wants to take a stress to assist him, you can.
Can I use my foresight and assist a teammate without paying stress?
Yes.
Can you remind me what assisting does? Because I don't remember.
It gives him +1. So this is I would say for those of you who are unfamiliar with Blades in the Dark, something we do is also establish position and effect before we roll. And so position is basically like how risky the situation is, what could go wrong if you fail this roll. And effect is how great the effect is, whether it's like a fully killing blow or if you've just wounded someone. So given this situation, I would say this is probably controlled and limited.
No doubt. Let's find out.
Would I be able to increase the effect by any chance? So, like, for instance, if I were to do something to
assist.
Oh, to increase the, because I can also use foresight and try to understand. This guy's like, he's a little nervous already, so maybe I do something because I'm also a like my background is weird. So I kind of like bust out some herbs and I just start. Yes. I can see it already. We will take this man.
So,
Right.
am I going to have greater?
Yeah, you can have,
greater effect.
Standard effect.
Yeah.
All right, I got a 5.
Yes.
Sweet.
Oh
yeah.
maybe.
We can provide something up front. When he hands you pulls out a bag that has the equivalent of 1 coin in it.
That's all.
Here's the deal for payment. We want this man dead, that's true, but there are some other conditions that we would like to have fulfilled as well.
You want his spirit mangled?
Wouldn't be ill if there weren't any conditions. What's it gonna be this time?
Spirit being mangled is definitely ideal. You can make sure that he has no chance of speaking out again. Either destroying or capturing his spirit and delivering it to us would be acceptable.
We do charge extra for spirit handling on Sundays, just to let you know.
It's true. And today, it is a Sunday.
Yes, it's Spirit Handling Sunday.
Good thing the score is tomorrow then.
Well, Murder Monday. Charge extra for that.
At least 20% extra.
We also want to make sure that other people at the event are aware of why he died. If you can make it look like an overdose or that the drug is responsible in some way, it would really help take out this field, this market for it. We want to make sure that everyone else at this party knows that it's not safe for use.
We can make it
Well,
look
I
like
would leave that up
it
to
was
you
his
guys.
project.
I can deal with the spirit.
Do you want to take a
can
break,
do it.
Smoke? I can take this one if you want. I can dig my fingers into his. It's been a while.
Because I have. Oh, Ghost Fighter! Which means I can touch them and poke them in the eye.
Woo! I should be able to figure out which one he is, or whatnot. Hopefully. Nobody can lie to me.
That's partially because I've got, like, looking into a mirror. I can always tell when someone is lying to me. A special ability.
Yeah.
Do not worry. I will be able to suss him out as well. There are ways. Because I have an ability called Weave the Web.
We have to get into the party first. I don't have get into party ability.
I like the idea that we're just telling him our abilities. Like,
I know. I mean, you already have it.
I have this.
Since we're already there, Speedy, real quick, the whole because I only used the material available on the website. The whole killing a ghost thing, is that a special move? Because I didn't see anything on my. Is it something
there's
that?
not a special move for it, no. So it's a
You
matter of like you got to have something that can do it. So I think as a whisper, like a default item you can have as a spirit hook, that'll do it. And like Thor's ghost fighter ability would allow him to do that as well.
Yeah, I meant to ask about those items because it also says a ghost key.
Yeah, that's for like a
just gonna
ghost
write
lock
down-
or something. It's vague. It's whatever you
Okay, I'm
want
just
it
gonna
to
write
be.
down ghost hook.
Yeah. So and the way loadout works in this, I can explain this right now. I realized we played it wrong when we were playing Blades before. You don't choose what items you're taking on a score. You choose what your load is, whether it's light, medium, or heavy.
Normal.
And then as you need an item, you just say you have it and mark it off. So and then you just can't have more than like the items that you said that you had.
Got it. That's smart.
So much easier.
Yeah. So
I mean, if we
it
go
helps like
to-
take away that planning phase a little bit.
That's cool. If we go to a ball, we probably can be heavily armed, and we have to wear sort of fancy clothing.
We can be heavily dressed, though.
That is true.
Luckily, I
And
was
I've got
already
a lot
prepared.
of folds to hide stuff in and under. Oh man, guys. I don't have a mask.
Well, I
had
forgot
to
it at a
do
masquerade
some
that I went
shopping
to.
on Friday, and I had hoped that they'd already thrown out the Halloween stuff, but no, unfortunately not. So no mask.
Sad.
Well, I've had that one for a while. Got it at a Ren fair, so.
Nice. All right.
Go get my top hat.
Ooh.
Also, I want to throw out here to Suri, because you have like looking into a mirror. This guy isn't lying to you, but when he talks about this being competition, this drug, he's not being entirely honest.
I knew it. Sorry, that was out of character.
Okay, then Suri is going to kind of glare at him a little bit, like giving him a little bit of a stink eye. Like she's trying to read between those lines.
Why are you looking at me like that?
She does not like
She usually has that look.
Whispers would
I
be
don't
like,
like you.
I'm stirring my tea. And I'm like, oh. I just pick up on Suri's look, and I'm like, oh.
Is
Something
there
you'd like to
something
bring up now?
you're not telling us?
Yes.
No, that's true.
Do we need to know?
No.
Are
you sure?
you sure?
No.
And it's a good thing for you it's not Truthful Tuesday, because then you'd have to tell us.
We get discounts on Truthful Tuesday.
We do?
Speedy, would you say that
30%
in the
off.
past, with the past jobs that I did for L, did it ever happen that somebody threw me a curveball, like in a really bad way, or would I in general trust L to not fuck us over completely?
I would say that in general, yes, you trust him. There's been things that he didn't tell you that you kind of wish you would have known. It didn't stop you from doing the job right, and it didn't necessarily put you in more danger, but it would have been nice to know.
Gotcha.
Would
Well,
this
then-
affect our...
I just stare at Crypt.
Would you telling us or not telling us affect our ability to accomplish this mission?
Shouldn't. All you need to do is take out Oil and Rowan.
Zeri, what do you think? Yes, that was. Is she telling the truth? Yeah. Okay.
Well, is he speeding?
It's true. It's all true.
We're good.
All
We're
right,
good.
all right. Okay.
One last question, since I have
No, go ahead.
Ghost Mind and says that I'm always aware of supernatural entities in my presence. Does that mean always, or do I have to roll for it?
It's just always. You don't have to roll for it.
So,
Oh yeah.
anything
I love whispers.
floaty going around with him?
No. No, I mean he has like some sort of vague like arcane aura about him, but like not significantly more than like you would.
Okay. Then Smoke is actually leaning back on the sofa again. I'm good to go.
Right.
Okay, you may leave now.
Initiati.
Thank you.
Another
Like
biscuit.
crumpets.
Okay. No, I should be going. And he stands up and hustles his way up the stairs and out.
I think if
I
we've already
noticed-
made a name for ourselves, is that everybody who comes to our lair is forced to drink tea and have biscuits.
Guys, we're called the tea drinkers.
Because we always are like giving the tea on everything. You know, what's the tea?
That would be great if you were what's that other kind of crew? The like manipulator one. Spies.
Oh yeah. Or the shadows.
Anyways.
If we were the
Shadows,
shadows.
T
yeah.
stands for
If you're shadows,
total
that'd be great.
murder.
Instead, we are shadows that murder.
Total killers. All right, so you guys have your
TKK.
score laid out for you. What are you gonna do? Is there anything you want to do to prepare?
I'm going to finish the plate of crumpets, that's for sure.
I
Yeah, I
haven't been
probably
to a ball since Arthur died. I'm so excited.
I probably grab a biscuit and I start chewing on it and like go into kind of a herbal trance because I take a stash of herbs and kind of a spark on one side and I light it and you see as Whisper's eyes just go white and he kind of goes into this he goes into my trance. I have a plan.
Do I need to
I love
put on
when
your
you do
maps?
I mean, Smoke would
No, look.
go for a more hands-on approach and start to. Wait, the ball, the masquerade is on the very same day, right? How many hours do we have left?
It's tomorrow. You have
Yeah,
a
it's
full
tomorrow.
day.
So we have a day.
It's
Okay.
like a Monday, remember?
We have a night.
Then Smoke would go and, I mean, if it's a big ball, just see if the newspaper has anything to report about that, or
Well, I would
It's
say
the kind
that
of event that it's not going to be publicized. It's meant for nobles to secretively engage in illicit
society.
pleasures, probably.
So I would probably engage my friend or my ally, a longtime friend that I made long ago. They were from the Dagger Isles, Salia, the information broker, and they moved to oh man, I'm forgetting the name of the city. Dustfall, thank you. And they moved to Dustfall to. Well, and basically made a name for themselves. So I would go to Thalia and probably try to acquire us entry in some way, shape, or form. Probably like a couple of us as actual goers of the masquerade, and then perhaps some of us as hired help, for instance.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and like roll me a consort for that?
Yes, and because I have weaving. Oh shit! I have weaving the web. I get a plus 1d plus to my consorts when I'm gathering information on a target for a score.
Yeah, that works.
I don't know. Does that? Alright, sweet.
I'll let you do that. Yeah.
And I have 2 to consort, so now I have 3d6 that I'm rolling.
Okay.
Do I want to push stress, or do we want to? Or maybe there's a devil's bargain. Does anyone have a devil's bargain? I got 4, so I can get 4d6.
Ooh. Okay, devil's bargain.
Too early.
They only have Earl Grey at the party, not peach chips. Oh, disaster!
Disaster strikes! How are we going to have our tea time?
Don't take it!
Devil's bargain. Someone else will be at the party who will be interested in stopping you, and they will know who you are.
No, it's not Riven.
just
my
specifically you.
nemesis. No, so Riven, by the way, is a chemist, so that it could very well be.
Oh, that's very interesting.
No, that's not what it would be. But it'd be there's someone there who I think for some reason probably, and they will know your identity, just yours, not the rest of it.
All right. So 4d6 then. Did I take the highest?
Yep.
Oh shit. So
What'd you get?
I got a 2, a 1, and a 3. So 3 is my highest.
All right.
That's good.
You're buggered.
Yeah. In case anyone's wondering, if you get less than a 4 in Blades in the Dark, it's not a good thing.
No.
Yeah.
It's bad.
The way Blades works is a 1 to 3 is a failure, a 4 or a 5 is a partial success or success with complications, and a 6 is a complete success. So that.
And I took a devil's bargain. Oh, that's
You
great.
took a devil's bargain, so
Good
that
start.
consequence is going to come into play no matter what. Thalia is able to secure you Thalia isn't able to secure you like an invitation or anything like that. What she tells you is that it doesn't seem like there are necessarily invitations to be had. That if you are able to make it in the door, that you're fine. As far as getting anything to pose as like wait staff or security or anything like that, you're not able to get anything like that.
Got it. I go to the group and I say, well, we have a problem. I was not able to secure our sentry. Do any of you perhaps have a noble friend who might be able to help us in this regard?
Not me, but my best friend Riven, the chemist, well, he might be able to provide us with some form of poison element that we could use once we get inside to do the deed. You know Riven, don't you? You mentioned his name before.
Yes. He is not my favorite person.
Oh, back in my day, he was one of the young orphan just like you, and I took him under my wing. Oh, yes, I did. He didn't like the assassinating that much, but he was damn good with the chemist set, so we just let him play with that, and now look at him.
I think it would kind of alert people if we start, with the business before we even get in.
Indeed.
Should I go out and get us some outfits?
Yes, that may help.
Yeah,
That for sure.
You guys can all go
What's the
ahead
way
and get like fancy outfits and masks and everything. What kind of mask would you guys each wear?
Well,
Tiger.
Mono, which I don't have here.
A red
Just imagine me
fox.
wearing it.
What was that?
Tom Nook.
Yeah, you got a raccoon mask.
Oh, I love it. What'd you say,
Mabel
Petra?
is dressed
What-
like an old
An
crow.
owl.
She's got,
Oh,
her mask. She's got a dress that's got feathers on it, like a
perfect.
dark black and grey
Right.
dress that descends into feathers, and she is the old crow.
So we've got two birds and a
crow.
fox.
What is this, turn cloaks?
Oh,
All right.
boy. We're off to a great
Yeah, we
start,
definitely
folks.
need outfits. So what are you guys wearing? I want to know.
Well, that's a good point. We never really described our characters. So maybe this is a good opportunity to just kind of set us up for that. Whispers would be wearing kind of a long scarf, kind of thin, something from the Dagger Coast, but he's wrapped himself even further because it's much colder in the north, and it kind of covers his face a little bit, and it wraps also around his head. So now he has the edges of the cloak. That's what he's going to be wearing.
Well, I'm wearing a completely different overlay. It's beautiful. There we are. Now I'm back.
Yeah, me too. I saw that too,
Yeah.
and I was like, that just made me stutter.
There we go. We're beautiful again.
Difficulty. It's fine. For the record, we got a donation for a was it a nat 20 for me. So the way things work in Blades, the GM doesn't actually get to roll any dice ever. But what that means, if you're giving things for me to succeed, what that means is at some point I get to impose a bad complication on one of these wonderful players that they have to then either roll to resist or something like that.
So
also, I know
chat,
someone
you
donated to give a
betray us.
magical item before. For if you wouldn't mind rolling on that magic item table. I don't actually know where it is. How many numbers?
I don't know where it is either.
All right. Well, if Bastion can help with that.
All right. You want me to just give Mullock's beautiful?
Or you just keep saying whatever you were going to say about your costume, and we'll get to it.
All right. Well, my overlay. No. Mullock, as I said, is Aruvian. He is very darkly skinned with a lightly trimmed beard that runs down his chin. He keeps this mustache portion nice and clean, but he is, to say big is accurate, but to say scary is even more accurate. He always has this scowl on his face or a disamused passion for things, unless they are related to, we're going to have a throwdown. Basically, imagine a Yakuza character from the Yakuza series, because I want him to have a super special, awesome tattoo on his back of something that is like Aruvian mythology, and that when he gets into a fight, his fists flare up with spiritual energy because he can do that. And he's sort of like, whenever he's bored, he turns that on and just sort of likes to play around with some of the like energies that trickle between his knuckles. But I imagine he regards himself to wear like very fine gold and red silks and whatnot.
Okay. All right, Madame, you're wearing, I assume, the mask that you are actually wearing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Suri, just like she's very easily approachable as a kind of visual thing for Suri. She's shorter. She's like a little on the like curvier side and has a very relaxing face. You're not going to look at her and think, yes, I'm going to get swindled. Yes, she's going to persuade me to do all the things and the stuff that could get me into trouble or like get me killed. And that's part of her disarming charm and talent. So when it actually comes to getting into her characters and getting into disguise, this is a role that she's going to be playing at the masquerade. She's not going to be like, hey, I'm sorry, at the masquerade. So she's actually going to wear like a navy blue dress with some slink, so with light silver trim around the edges and a couple of pieces of light swirls that almost mimic that of the mask that she wears, covering only half of her face. She wants to make sure that even if she is calm to look at, or it doesn't seem to be manipulative, she needs to make sure that you can see both of her eyes or most of her face if she wants to persuade them properly.
Gotcha.
Body language.
Right. Louise, you already pretty much described what
Don't
you're wearing.
underestimate the importance of body language.
Smoke, what are you wearing?
Smoke doesn't look too different than she normally is. She always looks very put together and suave. And so she wears sort of loosely fitted, high-waisted pants and a white shirt and suspenders. And a necktie, but for this occasion she gets out a really nice frock in a dark. I'm also going with navy, really nice navy color, and then with some embroidery. It's one of the, because as I mentioned before, during her work as a relic hunter, she really got a taste for expensive food, expensive clothes, and this is a good occasion to show that off. And then she also puts on a couple of fancy rings. And then, yeah, as I mentioned before, she's wearing an owl mask, like a barn owl mask, and with real feathers. And yeah, that's it.
Eddie, did you say yours already or no?
Yeah, so it's a lot of silks that kind of wrap around. So it's kind of like a... it's very... I would say Middle Eastern in style, and since we're going to a fancy ball, he's kind of brought out his best items. Nice. And tucked away a lot of his shamanistic stuff that he uses to gain foresight and kind of understand situations a little bit better.
Gotcha. Yeah. Right. So, is there anything else that you guys would like to do to prepare for this?
Yes.
Would you like to gather some information or?
Yeah.
Anyone down?
Yeah. You guys can start, but there's one thing I'd also.
Right. Let's go first.
Okay. I would like to talk to Marlene, my pugilist boxer friend. And I want to see if she's encountered any fights that are a little more spiritual than she could handle. If there's any, abuse with this drug called Radiance going around, are they using it in creative ways?
If I could, can I assist with weaving the web? Because that would give you a +1. I don't know how this would work necessarily in terms of which attribute of that role, but I would like to assist.
I don't know. I don't have sway or consort. I just have command.
You could introduce me if I have a lot of consort.
Yeah, if you want to have him roll it as consort and you assist, that could work too.
Yeah, I'll assist. That's 2 stress?
Right. Okay. Just one to assist.
It's just one? Great, thank you.
Yeah, okay, so go ahead and roll me a consort, unless you want to... I'm not going to bother with position and effect, really, but go ahead and roll... do you want to push yourself to take a devil's bargain?
Well, I don't need to. I'm already at max.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
I have, or at least, I don't know, is 4d6 the max?
I'm not sure. Go ahead and roll it.
Alright. I got 2 6s.
Sweet, a crit. Nice. Okay. So you go to this boxer, and what they tell you is basically that No, it's not really being used in fighting so much, but because they're kind of like a prize fighter, they've been to some rather elegant parties as a result of that, and they've encountered the drug before. They said that when they used it, it was like a bright and pure light shining down on them, and it just felt warm and peaceful. They also can relay some other information as well. If you start asking about kind of this masquerade ball, they'll tell you that they're actually going to be in attendance. That they recently won a big fight, and their manager is hoping to kind of show them off to some of these I don't know, potential sponsors, investors, that sort of thing.
I would try to maybe edge in there and see if I couldn't get like, oh, perhaps would like a posse to show your importance.
Yeah, she would be. Is it a he or she? Or they?
It's a she.
She. Okay.
She's real
yeah,
strong.
she would be.
That just makes me so much happier.
Tough
I'm
girl.
freaking
Yeah,
badass.
she's
Pugilist.
great. She says she'll ask her manager, and she will be happy to allow at least a couple of you to accompany them. Mulek in particular, and Whispers as well. You guys can both accompany her.
Okay.
If you want to, and you don't have to accompany her the whole time. It's just a way of getting in, really.
Right.
Awesome.
All right.
Let me think if there's anything else.
Like, for instance, is there a leverage? Oh, that's actually, I guess, the leverage that we just got. Maybe like what we should look for, because it sounds like they have more experience with the drug itself, as well as perhaps what to look for in a person that has the drug. The guy before was a little bit vague, so maybe they have a little bit more.
She mentioned that at this one other party that she had been at, that there was someone else who was just kind of giving it out. Like they weren't asking for money or anything. They were just trying to have a good time, pretty much. And she describes the person who was doing this.
Okay.
And they were wearing. Check this. This person was wearing an orange, like, cat-like mask.
Wait, like at symbol?
Cat.
Oh, cat.
Cat-like. Yeah. They were wearing a cat-like mask. And they went by Julius. You're not sure if that's Orlin necessarily, but it's certainly a lead. They'll also tell you one other thing if you mention the name of Orlin Rowan, which is that a sailor who she used to fight with cursed his name constantly for a while. It sounds like Orlin used to be a captain of a Leviathan hunting ship, but he was not very well liked by his crew. And so he is no longer a captain of a Leviathan hunting ship. And there may be some former associates of his in that way who will also be at this party. You might be able to pick out. And they might be able to help you recognize him.
It sounds like perhaps Smoke could find us a cursed one.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah.
I'll be the first to sort out my mask. Everything's gone wrong.
Right. We do want to hurry up because I predicted this. It's been like an hour and a half. We haven't gotten to the ball yet.
I guess
Okay.
as a quick thing that I know that Suri would like to do is she would like to sneak in with the catering crew and things like that today, and kind of figure out what it is that they're doing for the works, like things like where are the drinks being served, where are the like entrances and exits for like the back doors, where is the food being made, all of that jazz. So basically the inner workings of the behind the scenes.
Okay, you want to roll me a sway to get in there? Or maybe like a lurk?
Yes. I'll do a sway. I'll persuade people that, oh, yeah, I'm part of the catering crew. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, I'm going to call this risky still, but you can go ahead and do that. Risky later.
Well, I rolled a 5.
Okay. So, yeah, you're able to kind of sneak your way in with the crew as they're kind of setting things up. You get like the layout of it. It's basically just like one very large ballroom. On the right side of it, there's a bar where people are serving drinks. There's going to be waiters who are walking around serving drinks to people individually. There's like a kitchen on the left side that people are going to be walking around, or people are going to be walking out of to serve, hors d'oeuvres and that sort of thing. Also, grasp of the general layout. There's there's like a back room that seems to be like adorned, like rather lavish. Everything here is pretty like with red silks and stuff, and a few couches. You can see like a large like incenser, like or like a hookah in the middle of it that people are probably going to be doing drugs at or something. And yeah, that's the general layout of it.
Cool. I have surveyed the surroundings.
And they recognize those people who you're talking to. They recognize you as wait staff now. As one of the caterers.
Nice. We almost have everyone in the place.
Yeah, the way Smoke would try to go in is that she goes on her own, dressed up, looking nice and suave, and sort of pretend to be, someone of name and rank, sort of, you don't know me, shame on you. And then she would drop something at the door, something like, I'm just here to have a radiant evening, and I would appreciate if you do not stand between me and that.
The name drop! Oh, nice.
All right. Okay, and so this is at this point like the night of the masquerade that you're talking about. That's how you want to get in?
Yeah, that is how she would proceed.
Before we get to quite there, I'd just like to make some quick documents, like backup documents that say, hey, I'm Moros, the noble lady. That was
okay. I'll throw this out to you. Because this is a masquerade ball, no one is going to be using their real names. So
that's true.
It's going to be completely anonymous anyways. If you look the part, if you look like a noble, most people probably won't want to question you.
In that case, I'll spend my time making a list of the orphans in the city.
Excellent. All right.
Are you gonna try to gain some money or like do some some fundraising for your orphanage?
Yeah, I do some fundraising. I do some odd jobs.
Fundraising.
That's great.
We're just it's that kind of gala. It's a charity auction.
I'm like pickpocket over there.
Oh my. All
right. So if there's nothing else people want to do, let's go ahead and jump into the score. So it sounds like this is kind of going to be like a social engagement to start. It's not particularly important. Each of you seem to have like your own kind of points of infiltration that you're going for, which is fine. All that I want to do is make an engagement roll. So I need you get 1 die for sheer luck. What I need from you guys is anything that will add or subtract from that. Eddie, you have an ability that because you did your information gathering, you get a +1, right?
Yes. Weaving the web also gets me a 1d on the engagement roll for that operation.
Cool. Is there anything else that's working in your favor here?
I also can weave webs.
Oh.
But you didn't gather information using that ability, right?
No. It just says you get 1 + 1d for the engagement roll for your operation.
Oh, okay. Then sure. We get +2d.
Nice.
We
have 3d so far.
Is there anything working against you here?
What's that?
Is Is there anything working against you here that might give you -D?
Oh.
Is the fact that I'm a Ruvian might cause some problems for us?
Will you stand out?
I do stand out.
You'll stand out. I think that'll come up narratively. I don't think that's a engagement roll thing.
Roll.
I flex them away.
Okay.
I guess as a help, possible my cloak and dagger. Anything that to do with disguises or misdirection gets a +1d.
Oh.
For my character. It's for my character, but I don't know whether that helps.
For your character.
You have made friends inside.
Give that to you, and that, like, I assume you probably helped these guys with their costumes too, if they're not, they're not looking up to snuff, right?
We're
so
totally
yeah, we'll
in
give that to you.
List, so nice.
Sweet.
So we're at 4D
so
right now.
4D. I'm going to
3D,
take.
Sorry.
No, we're at 4 because there's one for each whisper, and then there's one for that. I'm going to take one away because of that devil's bargain from earlier. That there is someone here who knows who you are, and it's going to be working against you. So I'm going to call that 3, unless anyone else has anything they want to add. Correct.
I mean, I tried to look in the papers, but I didn't really find anything. I just found out that it's super secret. So.
Yeah.
Quick question about the person that knows me, or would they know me even with the mask, or is it more that they know that I'm?
You know how that works with superhero movies, right? In anime, just a mask and nobody will recognize you ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like
put on like that. Fine. No, so they know who you are. They know that you're going to be there. They might not be able to recognize you with the mask on, but like you also have a pretty distinctive style. I feel like still.
Yeah.
That it's so I don't know, but I'm taking one away regardless because of that. So 3 dice. Let's see how this engagement roll goes.
Who's gonna roll?
Oh, I did it.
I've rolled a few times, so I was gonna offer others too.
I just went ahead and rolled it because I am impatient. So that's a 5. So that's good. It's generally not too shabby. Let's go ahead and start with Whispers and Mulak. So you guys are going in just through the front door with this fighter. What was her name?
Marlene, I think.
Marlene.
Your fighter friend.
Or
my fighter friend?
Pugilist.
Marlene. Yes, correct.
Yes. Marlene. Sweet. Okay, so you're with Marlene.
The boxer extraordinaire.
Yeah, she's wearing like a full like luchador style mask.
Nice. Yes.
I want to do that now.
It's not too late. You can do that if you want. She's wearing a luchador style mask, and she's going by the name Diablo.
Nice.
Perfect.
And her manager's with her as well. You two are able to make it in with no problem, and you see this sort of lavish interior. There are like fancy like curtains and drapes throughout. All of the like pillars supporting are wildly adorned with like electric lights on strings. There's a baby grand piano playing a waltz in the background that there are a lot of people dancing to. You can see the entire place is just filled with people in masks and all sorts of fancy garb. There are waitstaff hustling about with trays full of snacks and drinks. As I described before, there's like a bar over to the right where they're serving drinks from. To the left, there's like a door that leads to what seems to be a kitchen, and there's also some tables on the left that look like they're for games of chance. There's gambling going on.
Okay.
And it seems like the party is pretty lively at this point. And I'll Suri, you're going in with the waitstaff?
No, she is still going in at the ball.
Okay.
But she will be as a different person.
Looks completely different. that disguise. It's perfect, incredible. Yeah. So I'll say that with your disguise, you look fine and refined, and your disguise, because it's like perfect, you have no trouble getting it.
Oh yeah, she comes across as very like regal and graceful at this point. Holds herself taller, so she looks taller than she is, and with an air of confidence that the waitstaff character did not have.
Mm-hmm. So Suri, Mabel, and Smoke, are each of you going in individually, or are any of you going in together?
I know Whispers and I are probably going in together.
Right, you two are. I'm asking.
Well, you're already in.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, you guys are already in because you went in with the pugilist.
I don't know. Are we
I guess I'll go in.
Come again?
Are we all going in through the front door?
Well, I think Mabel and Suri, it makes sense that maybe you guys would go in together because you guys are both trying to come in as nobles. I haven't heard what Smoke wants to do yet, but
I'm basically doing the same, but I'm also doing some name dropping to sort of pretend that I'm interested in the drug.
Yes.
So, I mean, if one or the other goes wrong, maybe we should just you two and then I go on my own, just in case something goes wrong, that it's not all three of us who are going to get booted out there.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
All right, so I will escort Mabel in as almost like she was my elderly relation that I am. Exactly.
Noble.
Yeah, so the entrance to this place, by the way, it's in Silkshore, and it's like right on the canal. You can see that there are some wealthy people who are coming up in boats and just like going straight in from there. But there is like a bouncer who's also wearing a rather plain white mask, standing by the door, and he kind of looks at you and sort of assesses you. Go ahead and roll me like a general sway or consort, and one of you can assist the other if you want.
Oh, I have really good sway.
I have really good consort, so either works.
Oh yes.
All right. Does one of you do you want to assist, or you can just have one?
Who wants to roll?
I'll assist.
Okay. So how many dice do I get then? 2, 3. So it's you add 1, right, for assisting?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And this is standard and controlled.
Wonderful. I love it. I dropped the dice. That's a 5.
Okay.
It's my top number.
Yeah. Because the situation is controlled, you guys are able to make it in without real difficulty. Sort of glances you over, looks at Suri for like a few extra seconds and says, "Look lovely tonight, ma'am," and ushers you in.
The men don't talk to me like that anymore.
You don't look a day past 40.
Hell you! What a good
He's
boy.
only 32. He's only 30.
No, I'm kidding.
Shame the guard.
Yeah, so you guys both make it in all right. And Smoke, you're coming in separately. You wanna?
Yeah. And I added a cane to my outfit so that one of my bejeweled hands is visible at all times. And yeah, I do what I described before, and you know, if they give me any, if they talk back or sort of look weird at me, I would say something to the effect of, I'm just here. Have a radiant evening, and I suggest you just let me pass.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a sway or consort, Theo.
So I have 1 action point for sway. Would that mean 1 dice, and then if I push myself, I could add 2?
You'd increase it to 2.
Take the highest, yeah.
No, wait. Sorry, come again. So if I push myself, it's +2 or +1?
It's +1.
It's just 1. +1. Okay. And then I take
so you'd bolt it.
2 stress for Devil's Bargain. Nah, it's a bit too early in the evening for Devil's Bargain.
So okay. So if you're pushing yourself, it's 2 stress, and yeah, you can do that. It's again controlled standard.
I have 2
so yeah,
4s.
2 4s. All right. He kind of looks you over, and he's a little bit suspicious at first. And when you mention wanting to have a radiant evening, he like stops for a second, and he takes a kind of long look at you. He says, "Go right on in." But he looks suspicious. He might know something, or he might be telling someone else. You don't know.
Alrighty.
So all of you are inside. There's not a buffet. It's just people with trays handing out like hors d'oeuvres and stuff.
Smoke definitely has a small container somewhere in her frock. She wanted to take some food home. That's.
Yeah, you got like tiny like hot dogs and stuff like that. You're muted.
You'll just have to dig into the hors d'oeuvres, Smoke.
Indeed.
So all of you are in there, kind of split up. Who wants to do something first? What is there any kind of person you're looking for, or anything like that?
I'd just like to ghost mine the room and or the whole vicinity and get an idea if anything supernatural is hanging around. And actually, I'm going to. So there's this gather info. Is that also
that's
a roll?
before a score.
Oh, okay.
Gathering info is specifically
okay.
prepping for a score. Yeah.
I should have asked more questions at the beginning. It's too bad. Well, then I'm just I didn't know that. Yeah. That wasn't explained on those handouts. Well, too late. Then I'm just going to go with Ghost Mine just to get an idea if anything pings up, either supernatural entities or since if I can perhaps even see if somebody has already taken the drug, if there's anything ghostly that has latched onto them, or spiritual.
So one of the things that's nice as well is that you can do a flashback and say if you wanted to find something. But yeah, that's just an idea.
That's true. If you wanted to do a flashback to do like gather information, you could do that. It would require taking some amount of stress, and then you can say that you already did something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I would like that. Yeah, because I didn't know that gather information is not for during the.
Yeah.
The action.
Yeah.
So
totally
would that
fair.
me just be telling you what I would have done before, what I did before?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because Smoke is a little bit concerned when she, as soon as she finds out that somebody uses something from the ghost field, something spiritual, and then turns that into a drug, and that has her worried. So she would basically find out, where was it? What echoes in the ghost field. She wants to find out if whatever they do in order to make this drug, if it is disturbing the ghost field or potentially even sort of, are they misusing spirits in order to do what they do, and is there might that have a really negative consequence somewhere down the road with them messing with that?
All right, yeah, go ahead and roll me a. I guess you could probably use a tune to do this if you wanted to. Yeah, there's information.
Yeah.
All right, how are you going about this? Are you just like, are you asking other whispers, or are you like asking ghosts, or are you just kind of like researching?
Well, my first thought was asking my ghost friend, but I think I'd rather attune to the ghost field. And no, very quickly, attune I have 2 die, consort I only have 1. So I think I'm going with attune here, just to get a general field, if a feeling, is there a disturbance in the force?
Okay.
Maybe you could ask your ghost friend for an assist.
Yeah, if you have like your ghost friend would give you an additional die, basically, if you were to ask
that works? I thought that was only for PCs. Okay.
Yeah, and like I'll count it as a tune.
Okay, so then I would have 3 in total.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Yeah. No. Let's do 3 and 1.
Oh,
all right. Unfortunately,
failure to touch
your
the
ghost,
field.
your ghost friend doesn't seem to know anything about this drug, which honestly kind of tells you something as well. It doesn't seem like there's any major like recent disturbances in the ghost field. In fact, there have been times in the past when like people have been misusing spirits, and spirits have like gone missing, right? Like spirits that were like typically in places were no longer there, or like the spirit wardens were called, or people were stealing from the spirit wardens. There's nothing like that. It's odd, honestly, that there's really no trace of any spirits being misused, so to speak.
Okay. And since this is done in a flashback, that's also something I would have shared with the whole group.
Sure. All right. Cool. And then
could I
still
could I still ghost mind the room just to get an idea if anything spooky is hanging about? And I don't think I have to.
No, you don't have to roll anything. You can immediately tell there aren't spirits like roaming around in this room, but you can definitely tell that there are a good number of people who have probably taken this drug. They have some sort of spiritual radiance about them.
Okay.
It's not like everyone. It's not even a majority of people, but maybe like a third of people at this party probably have some semblance of it.
Okay, then Smoke's next step would be to seek out Whispers and Moloch, but until she found them, you guys can do your thing.
Okay.
Could I, with Survey, just kind of like find a point where I can see most of the party and just look around and get a general gist of the room, but specifically looking for someone who is either kind of standing on their own or who is splitting between groups of people or other people in a kind of noticeable manner.
And if I would assist with
that. You guys aren't together, so I don't know how that would work. Unless you guys want to
I was trying to save us another roll because I was basically going to do the same thing. It's kind of like that's what I do.
Yeah,
we both go to the same surveying point and we're like, oh, hello.
Yeah, if you guys want to meet up and do that, you can. Or you could also search for different kinds of people.
That's fair.
Up to you.
I'm specifically looking for the orange cat-like mask, Julius, and maybe trying to suss out whether or not they have a radiant presence.
Okay. So let's go ahead and deal with Mabel's roll first. So you can go ahead and roll that survey. This is controlled standard, maybe controlled limited even.
That is a 4.
Okay. So looking around the room, it seems like there are a lot of people who are just kind of mingling, going about from person to person. It's kind of hard to pin down exactly someone who's not really staying in one place, but you do notice someone in particular. There's a man who's dressed a little bit more modestly than some of the other like more regal, elegant types, who seems to be like trying to talk to a lot of different people, and kind of getting edged out of conversations after a while, and then trying again and just moving around from person to person, and like seeing just kind of mingling, but like not having much success in it. But it seems like he's at this point talked to a lot of people at this party.
Okay. I'd like to, is he making like a pattern of going around, like there's one group here and one group here and he goes there to there and there around, or is he just going randomly?
It's a little bit more random. It seems like he'll occasionally try and make it back to like one table in particular, but like, or like it seems like he's occasionally like glancing over at one table in particular, but like not wanting to try and like join in necessarily.
Okay, I want to go stand near that table and just not too close that it looks like I'm about to like join in, but I want to see if I can hear what they're talking about.
Okay, so at this table, you see a few people. there's like 4 people kind of standing around. These are like standing tables, and you see there's a man, believe it or not, in a orange cat-like mask, who is. It seems like he's hitting on this woman who appears to be a Ruvian in descent, who's wearing like these like a luxurious red dress, and like just completely red mask that covers like just the left half of her face. She seems quite beautiful, and she's like, it looks like she's interested in what he's saying, but also like she's like kind of leaning away a little bit still too.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I will stand there, and I will look interesting. I'll be like, wow, there's a lot of lovely. Oh, look at that sight over there. Yeah, what a lovely city. Wow.
I would actually like to wander up with Mabel as like, you know, sticking together, that like helping Granny across the ballroom kind of thing.
That's conspicuous.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
if you guys,
I kind of will see this as well.
yeah, you see all of that too. You can tell that from listening in on that conversation a little bit. You can hear that it seems like this orange cat mask man is. She's referring to him as Julius. He is referring to her as Scarlet. And it seems like he's the one who's talking mostly. He's kind of bragging a lot. He talks about like just like all the like really important people that he knows, and like how everyone is like super interested in him. And he even at one point mentions this drug Radiance, and how how people have been begging him for it. Are you going to do anything?
Name dropping.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Are you guys going to try and interact with him, or are you just kind of waiting around here like a little while?
I'm kind of tempted to go in, but Suri would ask Mabel first, like,
Should I go in? Should I enter?
Do it.
Whispers would come in behind and say, "Yes, go in, Suri. Let him know."
Before she goes, she's like, just wait a moment, and she'll just like make a little like rub off a little like smudge on your cheek. Like, you look precious, darling. Off you go.
Lord sips.
Go ahead, Morg.
No, he sips.
Oh,
Okay.
all right, so Suri's going to straighten up, roll back her shoulders, and suddenly her walk changes.
Let him know that the red fox is interested in a radiant evening.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And she saunters on up with a bit of a like sway of her hips, and accidentally bumps into him. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am greatly apologize. Oh, I didn't get that on your fantastic attire, did I? Oh, I must. My greatest apologies. You're looking quite radiant this evening.
You're saying this to Julius, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
He immediately, at the bump, like, he at first turns around and looks slightly, like, offended, like he's about to get mad, and then, like, he sees you, and is like, oh, I apologize, I didn't see you there. You're looking quite radiant as well. Is there something I can help you with?
Ariava, pleasure to meet you.
He kisses your hand.
I was
just talking to
wondering.
this woman here as well about the radiance of life. It is quite the joy. I'm happy to have been able to bring so much of it to so many people.
Yes, the room is positively glowing. Positively glowing. In fact, if I may be so bold, may I recommend the man in the fox mask? I think he could use a little something to help him shine.
And he like glances over and looks at Whispers. Curious. I think I've seen that mask around here before, nor have I seen yours, however.
I come by and intercept this poor Peruvian woman, and Muluk says in Hadrathi, "Dance with me."
She looks at you with like kind of I appreciate the offer, but I am fine here.
Oh,
know,
dance with
I
him,
know.
dear. He may just be able to sweep you off your feet. And can I kind of sway her on that?
Yeah, go for it.
Sweet. Another 5.
I'm gonna get you some room.
All right.
This guy.
Oh yeah.
Kind of looks at each of you and is like, "What are you two together?"
Flex for her.
No, but he saved one dance, and let me tell you, it was a glorious time.
Very well. I will dance with you. And she takes your hand and proceeds to the dance floor, where there is still this lovely waltz music playing.
He starts raving.
There you go. There you go.
It's the root sandstorm.
Might I suggest that we enter into the back room, somewhere a bit more quiet and atmospheric?
Yes. That was Whispers kind of off on the side, not actually joining this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like my plan is working. Yeah. Weave the web, Sturdy.
Why don't you go ahead and roll me another sway?
Kill him!
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
You can go ahead and roll me
She
another
does that
sway.
sometimes.
Okay. Roll another sway.
Yeah.
That was a 3.
Can I flashback really quick?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, go.
I want to flashback, and can I have a magic item that will make him love her?
Yes.
Yes, I was
Like,
thinking about that. So
that is why I popped by to get this woman to dance with me, so that I could pin something on him that would make him like, oh, she's radiant.
Yes.
Oh, I must be. Yes. So I'll take a stress
Absolutely.
for that, or 2 stress.
for
Is it
this
2 stress
one,
or
I'll
1
just
stress?
say it's variable. It's depending on how like dramatic the thing is. I'll just say 1 stress for this because like the magic item was donated to you, so you should just be able to use it. I think.
Sweet.
Yeah. So you put this onto him,
Sweet.
and like immediately, like as soon as his eyes lock back on Suri, he's
That fan is
enamored.
glorious.
Well timed. Well
It
timed.
adds to the appeal if the hair is blowing in the wind, you know.
Darling, you tempt me. I would be happy to join you in the back room, though I don't know if man in the fox mask would be welcome. I'd rather spend time with you.
Does that mean I'm not invited either?
Sorry, who are you?
Oh no! I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
I come
name is
by, I ask
Julius.
Mabel to dance. Dance with me.
You just look behind
The
Scarlet?
solution to everything. Yes. Oh man.
Do I?
No.
I look. Whispers. I look to you, and I'm like,
All right. So, as the mastermind, I'm going to say that I also do a flashback, and I want to say that we talked earlier about this, and Mabel would go in to kind of maybe confuse the Julius once we found them, but then. Mulik would step in, and I would step in to anyone else that was talking to them. So, kind of doing this whole dance of making sure that Suri ended up in the back room with Julius.
I'd like to do a flashback to when I was young and spry.
You decide to not roll.
lovely.
I guess
so
actually,
your flashback is to do what? So Suri's going in there with him. That was
I would
kind of
say
what was
actually-
already going to happen.
Yeah, I would say it's more of maybe we could do a flashback where Suri ahead of time went to the back room as a waitstaff and set up something there so that she would have the tools she needed. So this is all part of my plan. So she would have the tools that she needed, and if I let's say there's a cushion that we had acquired ahead of time, an overdose of radiance, perhaps an overdose amount of radiance.
I will say this, because you would have been told this already and would have learned this. It doesn't seem likely that radiance could actually result in an overdose.
So we have to maybe add.
It's possible that it could kill someone, but like it doesn't seem.
How about this?
I
How about-
said we should
can we
get
taint it?
poison.
Yeah, can we taint it
Yeah.
with like a poison? Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still radiant, so it's like they'd have a high concentration of radiance, but then maybe like a hidden poison inside.
Yeah, I would say you wouldn't be able to, acquire radiance to like pre-poison, but you could have acquired poison and placed it there, so you'd be ready to.
Yeah, I was going to say
Poison
in the downtime, I said I was going to get poisoned, but then we decided not to. Because I then flashed back and get my friend, and I'll get some poison.
Well, that's what I love about flashbacks. It makes up for your mistakes or forgetting something. So yeah,
I almost feel like there should be something where I need to like signal smoke once we found the guy and I'm leading him into that back room.
he has a really
Sorts.
bad trip.
How much stress do I take for my flashback?
To just acquire some poison and
Yeah, from a friend.
And then mine would be to make the plan of like placing it in that location.
Okay. Yeah, those things combined. I'll say for Mabel, just one stress because it's like from your friend. It doesn't require that much effort to do. For Whispers, I'll call that one stress as well.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's 2 stress for you because getting in there and like hiding something so that it wouldn't be found until now. That's a bit harder to do.
What happens, by the way, if you fill up all of your stress points markers?
You take a trauma, you pass out, and you don't die, but you just pass out, and your friends have to basically get you the hell out of there. And when you wake up, you have a permanent trauma, which is one of those like cold, obsessed kind of things.
Yeah, trauma's
It's just a
stressful.
narrative effect, but yeah. So you don't want to max out your stress. All right. So yeah, the poison is in place in this back room. Mabel, you acquired this poison. Sir, you're being led into that back room with Julius. I want to focus on Mulik. Mulik is dancing with Scarlet. And Scarlet will just... Sorry, what?
I was going to say, I'm dancing with Mabel. I intercepted Mabel. And I'm like, let us dance.
We're having a drive. I want to be on the lookout for the modest man that I saw earlier.
Yeah, but before that happens, while you guys are just kind of standing there, because you've been watching this conversation happen for a while, this guy kind of walks up to you.
The modest man.
Yeah, the modest man. And he just kind of looks at each of you and sort of nods and is like, hello, I'm Aldo.
What was that? My hearing isn't what it used to be. Baldo or Aldo?
Aldo.
Aldo.
Yeah, Aldo. It's a pleasure to meet you. What brings you here?
Well, I'm never one to miss a party.
Yeah, it seems like a really good time.
You don't seem like you're having the greatest time, Aldo. Don't tell me what's wrong.
It's nothing really. I'm just, this is my first one of these, I guess. I've been trying to, get to know people. It's not really the kind of crowd that I'm used to hanging out with. And I thought that, because it's really important people, that there might be, some way to get some connections, but it seems like all everyone here is interested in is just drugs and drinking.
Well, baby, you're just going about it wrong. I have to tell you what, I'll pretend to be some random person. You come up to me, introduce yourself as you would, and we'll just see how it goes. Okay, I'm here. Oh, yes. Oh, lovely. Yes, I love drugs. Oh. Oh, drugs. Oh.
Dance farther away. All the way to the edge of the room.
You haven't come up to introduce yourself yet. I feel like the timing is key. So maybe we try again. You come a bit faster. Okay.
Hello there. I'm Aldo. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. What's your name?
Greetings, Aldo. My name is Fagina.
Sorry, what was that?
Fagin with an R at the end. Fagina.
It's nice to meet you, Fagina. Thank you. It's the first time I've laughed here.
Okay, so I think I see the problem. You seem very upset all the time, and those people don't seem to, jive with that at parties. So, you know what? Come with me. We'll go introducing ourselves to everybody. Put on a smile.
Okay.
Whispers walks up and says, "Who is this lovely friend you have, Mabel?" Or Fagina.
This is my good friend Aldo. Say, Aldo, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Aldo.
It's a pleasure, Aldo. I am Whispers from the Dagger Isles.
It's nice to meet you. I've worked with a few people from the Dagger Isles in my past as well. It's good to see that there are some in attendance here tonight.
Yes, there are a few. That is,
Aldo, do tell me, what was it that you used to do?
Oh, well, I've been a merchant for some time. I used to work on ships, and eventually I started my own trade. Now I mostly stay in Duskfall, though, and exchange goods. I've been hoping that someone here would be able to, I don't know, be able to make some deals with.
Tell me something, Aldo. Now, you don't have to tell me because this is quite a personal question, but are you an orphan?
Whispers, like, you can't really see it behind the mask, but he just, like, smiles ear to ear at this, like, very obvious question.
That is an odd question. No, I'm not. My mother raised me. It was her alone, but I did have her, at least.
We can change that. Which I'm quietly whispering as I'm standing back to back with whispers.
Quick out of character question. What was the name of the captain man of the boat that they were swearing on?
Orlin Rowan.
Oh, Orlin Rowan. He's your target tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
So you've been about on the boats and the whatnot out in the sea?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, well, you see, there's this captain fellow who's made quite a name for himself around here. You see, I don't know that much about him myself, but did you ever sail and, what was it? Was it, Rowan? Was it Row? My memory's failing me. What was it again?
Rowan?
I've generally forgotten it out of character.
The name sounds familiar. You know what? There was another man who I saw before. I spoke with him only briefly, but he was a sailor as well. He might know some more. And he points over like across.
Orlin. No, that sounds like your name.
He points across to like the bar where there's a man who's sitting. Pretty much, he's not alone, but like he looks like he's pretty much keeping to himself. And he's dressed in like completely all black with a black mask. And he looks pretty burly. He says, "Yeah, that man, Rowan. The Rowan family, I know, they run Leviathan hunting ships. That man over there, he's the Leviathan hunter. He might be able to tell you more."
Would
you like to talk to him? I didn't talk to him much.
Friends together.
Okay.
Can we say that Whispers overheard this conversation and like kind of like whispers to as he does, whispers to Smoke and says, "I think that is our next step. Perhaps we should see if this Leviathan hunter can point out Orlin."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I nod to him. And actually, is there a little something that I could sort of say that I did before I joined the group? Smoke would want to help with the setup for making it look like this drug could be dangerous. And I was thinking that just making it look like an overdose might not be enough. So I would like to use my sort of my supernatural abilities to give. I would like to sort of see who shines especially bright, talk them up, chat a little bit with them, and then have them have some hallucinations if possible. Perhaps conjure a little ghost in the mirror, just sort of out of the corner, out of their eye, as I'm talking to them, just making idle chatter.
Okay.
Would something like that be possible?
Yeah, I'd say you could absolutely do that. It would be
so I have compel. So I have compel, and I mean that is more like it says force a nearby ghost to appear and obey a command to give it. You give it.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of that it.
Yeah, you can do that. Compel would definitely allow you to do that. I'm gonna need you to make a roll still, because summoning a ghost in a crowded room is still a dangerous affair. Like you can do it and like you can command it. However, hoping that it just does some weirdly eerie stuff and like freaks some people out a bit, rather than like making everyone terrified.
Scream and jump,
yeah, scream and jump.
What could possibly go wrong?
That's the danger here.
I think I'm gonna push myself again to give me one extra die.
And I also do a flashback and say that, like, as part of the plan, we were going to try to cause some confusion, and like primarily try to affect those that have been using Radiance. So like there would be kind of a whisper or a rumor starting to spread as per Petra's Smoke's effect. Causing folks to start freaking out a little bit, like, but subtly, like it starts building, kind of builds a tension.
Because I would assume that at least a few people who take the stuff are aware that it has spiritual properties. Maybe not know all the details, but maybe I've heard something about it, so that they would buy into it. That this could be a side effect, and perhaps something more.
Sorry, I think my internet cut out for a second. What just happened?
No, I was just.
We won, is what happened.
Yeah,
we killed him.
Yes, exactly.
We killed our
okay.
target.
It's dead.
Okay, so Eddie, you're
When did
going
you
to
put
assist
out?
by saying this was kind of like part of the plan and stuff. Yeah, and this is actually a very good time to bring in. We have a viewer decision because we hit 20 retweets. If we hit another 10, that'll be another viewer decision. So you guys watching at home, I want to hear from you. What ghost is this that these people are summoning? The roll will still determine like how under control it is and like what it does to an extent. But I wanna have a vote in chat on what this ghost will be. And so I'll let that run. I know Bast will set up like a straw poll for that, and then we will come back to this in a second. For the moment, I want to cut to Moloch, who is currently chatting it up with Scarlet on the dance floor.
We are.
So she's kind of dancing with you. You notice she's doing like a very traditional Aruvian dance that doesn't quite fit in with like the very measured Akarosian dances of people around you to this waltz. It's much more loose and flowy and sensual almost.
Fun! It's more fun!
And she says, it is good to see another Aruvian here at this event.
I meet her wiggles and say, my tongue is dancing with a language as much as your feet. And I'm speaking Hadrathi because I'm trying to make a clever metaphor that the language is dancing as well as us two. We are intertwined and beautiful together. And then I say, how is that man speaking to you? Tempting you with hellish substances.
He is an oaf, to be certain. I was not sure you interested in whatever it was that he was after from me.
He was after...
He does have knowledge that I...
He has knowledge of consequence, of use, of pleasure. I hope not the latter.
In a way, yes.
Please, not the latter.
I assure you, I do not talk with people uselessly.
That is wise.
I'm useful as well. Another Aruvian. What brings you here? What status have you?
A man. A ghost. These hands will rip both apart. But his face is unknown to me.
Powerful man indeed. Actually, I want you to go ahead and roll me like a sway or something here.
Can I roll?
Because you just basically said you wanted to kill someone.
Yes. Which I did.
She's cool, but like I don't know if she's that cool.
Aroused.
I want to. I'm not sure if I want to command obedience. I kind of do because I don't have anything else in anything. Literally, he is a brick wall meant to be directed, and I want him to be like, we are two ships on a river. Mine is a gunboat. You have the unfortunate consequence of dancing with me. Now we must help each other. That's what I want out of her. I want to basically force us both to help each other.
Interesting. All right, you can go ahead and roll me a command. I'm going to say this is risky, and the effect is standard.
I'm going to push myself to give me another die. And this will be 3d6.
I'm going to use my foresight to assist.
Did you
already
rolled it?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also doing this kind of out of earshot.
Right. Yeah. This is foresight. This is something like.
That's right. It's your.
Yeah.
The shadows told you.
Yeah.
The whispers.
She kind of looks at you with some amount of concern. I do not wish for anyone to die tonight. But I am interested in something. That oaf, Julius, he's just a front. He is a friend of the one who spreads this drug. And even he is not the one who supplies it. There are too many people in play here, and I do not know which one's truly the source. But I want
Is that of those who don't belong, or those who are beyond?
And I twirl her, and I'd like to do this little maneuver where I like spin her up into the air and just like do this like little like and like make it really fancy, and then we'll finish our dance, and I'll say,
"The woman I left him with, she speaks in shadows. You will find me. Then you will find your man. And with luck, he will lead me to the source. If he does not die today, he will have his true death another time."
and then he will just gently brush her mask and straighten it a little, because after that maneuver, it's probably a little askew. And he steps away towards Whispers, and he says,
"I am worked up. We need to find this man."
Yes. All right. Let us go. Smoke. Perhaps it is time then.
She seeks the source.
It's good to know. Did you find out perhaps where we should look next? That was
this
very
man.
quickly. What about the whole ghost thing?
Oh,
ghost
yes.
thing.
Right.
Right.
Because
let me
that
get
might
in just a second.
backfire, so I can't really step in right now.
Yeah. So The viewer decision poll is still being set up, and I'm doing it right now. So
I mean, we could use it as an
is
After
in
Effect. I
chat.
can roll now. I can roll now and just summon something, and then we do our stuff, and then it goes off like a time bomb. Either people are decently worried or freaked out.
That's the ghost. You've summoned him.
I think I'll let the poll run for just like a hot minute, and while that's happening, we can cut to Suri inside with Julius. He leads
being
you
with
inside.
Julius in this like drug room is kind of dangerous because her vice is pleasure. As well. So she kind of likes the drugs and the drink and the stuff.
Yeah. There's a few other people in here as well. There's like about 5 other patrons. It looks like there's a few different drugs in play here. The hookah thing that you saw in the middle seems to be you might be familiar as someone whose vice is pleasure with a drug called Dream Smoke. You can see that there are a few people who have been partaking in that.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, and they're kind of like a little loopy. There's one person who's like passed out on these elegant couches.
Mood.
But he leads you in there and opens up a it's basically just like a cabinet door that's like in the wall. He opens it up and pulls out 2 vials and says, "A radiant evening you desire, is it?"
I have always been curious as to the effects of radiance. I will admit my experience with it is very little, but tempting. Might you be able to tell me a little bit about it?
Well, there's no real way to describe it. It's like a bright warmth from a fire, but brighter than that. More pure than the moon. It is warmth and comfort. And memory.
Perhaps
Nostalgia.
Perhaps we might sit ourselves somewhere comfortable so that I can ease my nerves. First time user.
I assure
and all.
you Radiance will assist in that as well. Very rarely are there any real adverse effects, so you should be quite alright. And I assure you I will watch over and make sure you don't have anything bad happen to you. And he leads you to a couch.
So
And,
this couch. How heavy is
You to a
it?
couch.
Can I
You are not in the room, sir. He leads you over to a couch and just sort of sits down next to you, and he has these 2 vials in front of you. And they're sort of like,
Sorry, quick flashback. I've decided that the fan is the signal, so if anyone is ever able to see in, whenever she uses her fan, that's a signal that, okay, we're progressing. That's why she whipped it out earlier. Like, the fan is progressing.
I like it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he has these 2 vials, and they're sort of like, they're sort of flared and look like, almost like a water droplet upside down a little bit. And it seems like there's like at the top it also comes to a point, and there's like a sort of filter in between. And what's inside looks shimmering and bright and silvery white. He says, "This drug is inhaled. just hold it up to your nose and in as you normally.
As a character moment, so we decided that the vial of poison was going to be somewhere within these couches, right?
Yes.
And to try and spike it from there. Okay. So, is the effects of this immediate, or would I have a moment to, like, after doing it myself, where I am still of sober enough a mind that I might finesse my way into slipping a drop into his dose?
You don't know.
Also, before she partakes, I was gonna say, like, let's jump to a scene where we're somehow potentially confirming that the guy that she's going to poison is the target.
Yeah,
I think we still haven't confirmed that.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
So let's.
Yeah,
let's,
from what I took, he's like the right hand man of the or right wing, the right hand of our target.
Probably Rowan or somebody related to Rowan. So
yeah, that's what.
Would we know?
But
Would we know where they went?
Yeah, you know where they went.
Okay.
So I'll say that this scene is happening. She's about to partake in this drug.
Right. Cutscene.
Or someone else. So let's actually go to this ghost scene that you guys were trying to play out before.
Okay.
Because I think we have enough votes in the viewer decision.
What I have done is I chatted up a few people, spoken to them, and for the ghost to appear, if I have control of it or decent enough control over it, I would target a group that's definitely not right in the middle of the room, somewhere off in a corner having some drinks. And what I'm attempting to do is have this ghost appear in the mirror, sort of out of the corner of their eye, and have that happen to two different groups, which is quite a task. But let's see what happens.
Okay, so yeah, I'll say that. If you're targeting some people who are on Radiance and kind of off to the side, if you go over to like the gambling tables, you can see that there are quite a few people there who are seem to have partaken already and are enjoying about. There's one table that is like spinning roulette, and you think that the center of the roulette table is like reflective enough that it would be able to put something really spooky in there. And there's another game with dice where someone is shaking a very reflective metallic cup for the dice rolls.
Yeah, and so in my conversation, I would have sort of shown a little bit of interest in trying Radiance, but being really hesitant about it because everybody said that there weren't any side effects, but which I have a hard time believing.
Yeah.
So just
very fair.
Okay, so I roll a tune.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a tune. This is going to be risk.
And I pushed myself.
And standard. You're pushing yourself. And let's take 2 stress.
And I'm assisting.
Did that.
And you're assisting.
Oh.
How are you assisting again?
Foresight. Like, it's called part of the plan.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So yeah, you can take an additional 2 dice there.
So 4. So yeah, I have two action dots for a tune. 4 in total. Let's see. Come on.
4 dice.
Ooh. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6.
We got a crit.
6. Nice. That's not a crit.
Yes.
It's just a 6.
Crits is 2. That's right.
2 6.
It's double 6. Yeah.
But
so 3, 4, 5.
A 6. Excellent. So there's a few things happen. There's like a few people who are kind of around this roulette table. You see that there are like 3 people who have been partaking in Radiance in particular. There's like a woman who was previously like being very like ostentatious. She looked like she was fabulously wealthy and just like talking to everyone, putting her arm around everyone. And then like the second that the next roulette table or the next roulette round. It starts to spin. She just sort of freezes, and she just sort of stops, and she stares into this ball at the top of the roulette table, and she sees something. She sees a silvery figure looking back at her that's not her own face, and it's looking at her, and it's looking across the room. And you see it's looking towards the bar. And if you, Smoke, are able to see this close enough, it's kind of hard to tell because this is such a small reflection. But as you look over back to the other table, where there are again more people who have been partaking, and this person is shaking this cup of dice, and again the few people who have been partaking in Radiance start to just sort of stare at it in awe and confusion, and like one person is like, "Have you seen that?" And the other person's like, "Yeah," and another person's like, "No, what are you talking about? Are you okay?" But he's shaking this thing, tosses the dice, sets down the thing, and it's clear as day. There's an old man kind of looking back. And it's weird because like from every perspective of everyone at the table, it looks like it's looking at them. Or it's like facing them. But its eyes are always pointed in the same direction towards the bar. And as you look back and you see Mabel walking towards bar, and it seems like its eyes are following her. But people are notably like a little bit freaked out. Like they're like, I don't know, I don't think this is okay. I need to go sit down somewhere else. I need to get away from this. And so like a couple people leave from the table.
If I pick that up, the whole.
Yeah, go.
If I pick that up, the whole, that the ghost follows, or the eyes follow Mabel. So would I think that would be weird? If it just, I
Probably.
have experience with ghosts. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird that it would follow her in particular for just like a random ghost you summoned.
Okay.
It would be
and then
normal if it were looking at you, but it's weird for it to be looking at people.
Okay, I'm taking a mental note, and then I approach the woman that you described first, the one who's putting her arms around, then freezing, and I sort of place a hand on her arm, just saying, "Madame, you don't seem quite all right. Is there anything I can do for you?"
No, it's quite all right. I may have just drank too much. I may have just drank too much. It's nothing, I assure you. And her arm is still at this point around a man who is sitting next to her, who kind of looks at her kind of curiously, and he's wearing this black crow mask, or like raven mask with like a long beak to it. And she says, I think it'll be okay. And she looks at the man next to her and says, "Darling, can we get out of here?" And he...
if you just excuse me just for a second, I've already also had a little bit of alcohol. I would just like to make sure. What was it that you had? I mean, I would like to enjoy the rest of this evening. I'm terribly sorry for the state that you are in, but perhaps you could help me out.
Go ahead and roll me a sway here if you want to. This is risky limited, probably. Actually, risky standard.
Okay, I think I'm either pushing myself again. I still have a few to spend. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Push again, because I only have one action point for sway. Let's see. Come on, guys. Mama needs a 6. Shh. 1, 2, 3.
Oh no! All right.
No.
She looks at you and is like, I'm sorry. I'm perfectly fine. I don't appreciate you asking all these questions. This is supposed to be anonymous. This is not supposed to be some sort of event where we just share. All right? Darling, can we please leave? And he looks back at her and says, I can't leave just yet. But he'll sort of usher her off to the side away from the table. And you see them start to just sort of have a discussion alone, just sort of off the side near where the kitchen entrance is.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to
sort of nod apologetically and walk off.
Okay.
Would I be able to understand, like, if these people were of any importance to, like, maybe how they carried themselves? You said they was anonymous, and like the Raven. I'm particularly interested in the Raven mask guy, just to see if that's a red herring or if that's maybe someone that we want to know about.
What are you trying to find out here?
Just discern their insight, like their presence, like if because he mentioned that he wanted you to stay longer.
Yeah, they certainly seem to. I mean, you weren't. Well, actually, were you there? You were watching this whole thing go down too. Like from.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely around. I was around smoke, but.
Okay. Then yeah, you saw this conversation and, he seems. They definitely both seem of noble import. It seems like she's not actually. It seems like he's not actually like interested in her. Like it doesn't seem like they're in like a relationship. It's more like she was looking to him for some sort of validation of what just happened with the ghost stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Right. I was just kind of trying to suss out that information. Yeah, that was important.
One
and I'll
question.
also say that you heard them from just like overhearing them talk and stuff. You heard her being referred to as the Duchess and him being referred to as the Rook.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Very quickly, am I able to communicate with the ghost that I summon?
In this case, I'm gonna say it would require a roll, just because you summoned it in such a way that it's like you've commanded it to basically just be spooky in a cup and roulette.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine for now then.
All right, then let's go ahead and cut to Mabel, who is currently talking with, who's with Aldo and about to walk up to this sailor man.
Yes, so remember, when you first introduce yourself, you smile. Everyone looks at the smile first, and then you go forward and you display the very best version of yourself.
Yeah, I already introduced myself, it's just we didn't talk much.
Very well.
But I'm sure this time it'll go better. Now that I have you.
Yes, yeah, I will back you up.
Thank you.
Like you're a hype woman.
Yeah, so you guys walk over there together, and this very large man, he looks like he's probably Skovlin in descent, sort of hunched over the table with a mug of beer, which is a fine alcohol here because usually most people drink bungle brew. That's the drink of the people, so anything made from weed is valuable. But yeah, he's enjoying a beer to himself, and dressed in what is a very professional level of clothing. That's like it's all black, essentially, and has this black standard masquerade mask. He kind of looks back at you and goes, "Oh, Aldo, hi again. Who are you?"
Why, hello, I don't believe I've had the pleasure yet. The name is Fagina. It's Fagin with an R at the end.
Pleasure to meet you, Fagina. I go by the ink.
By the what, sorry?
The ink.
The ink? The ink, as in the writing ink.
Yeah, or like the sea.
That's a lovely name. Well, no, I do like that. So my friend Aldo here tells me that you're somewhat of a sailor. Is that right?
Yes. I
Oh, that
run
is.
my own Leviathan ship.
Well, goodness, you see, my son was a sailor. You see, he'd come back with such great stories about the sea and about all the things that would happen out there. You're a very brave man. You are a very brave man.
Aldo is looking nervous about this conversation. Thank you. Is the to who do I owe the pleasure? It's Fagina? What?
Fagina, yes, Fagan women
Is this
are at the
something
end.
you like?
Oh well, I was just going to make her acquaintance. See, I haven't been to a ball in a good few years, you see. So I thought I'd, mingle around. And although he said you were an interesting chap, and that actually, while I have you here, I see my son's been away for a very long time now, so I haven't been able to ask him about all the things that happen out at sea. And well, you might know. See, there's this fellow, this person in these parts who made quite a name for themselves. Quite a yes, indeed. And see, I don't hear much about things where I am. You know how it is. And
Get on with it.
Yes. The name Rowan, the name of Rowan, the House of Rowan, the Leviathan ship Rowan. You know the one.
Yes, I'm familiar with the Rowans.
Yes, have you ever sailed under them? You ever sailed under a Rowan?
No, but I know quite a few who have.
Oh, very nice. But see, I've been asked myself. You see, my son, he had sailed under with the Rowans, and when I've been asked to pass something on from him, but obviously he's not here, and I am in his place. So that everyone's wearing these darn masks, and I can't figure out who is who. My eyesight's not what it used to be.
Who are you trying to talk to?
One of the Rowans, you silly boy.
Which Rowan?
The captain one, the one that my son sailed under. You must know my son. Oh, I bet everybody knows my son. He's a good boy,
There's more than one Rowan who's sailed a Leviathan ship. They own a fleet.
Can I use this opportunity to do a flashback and remind Mabel of the name?
I remember it in character. You don't have to use a flashback.
That's so good.
That's so good.
It's Orlin Rowan.
It's
Orlin Rowan. Orlin Rowan. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. Okay.
Mabel's crying.
Oh man.
I
love it.
Orlin, was it Orlin?
Orlin.
He spits
It's
on the
like
table.
Orlando, but without the O.
Or the D.
Yes, it's Orlando about the Rowan.
Orlin? That one hasn't been a captain in years. Got laughed off the goddamn ship. Not a single man of his respected him.
What happened to him?
He was always a layabout. Never really did anything to deserve the respect. Eventually, he thought he'd try and get a tattoo from. Well, if your son's a sailor, you probably heard of the Ink Master in the docks.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, he's always over at the Ink Master.
Yeah. Only gives tattoos to the sailors who really deserve it.
The Ink Master.
What?
Just to clarify, you said the Ink Master corpse or just the Ink Master?
Just the Ink Master.
Just the Ink Master. Yes, no.
He's a sailor himself. Only gives tattoos to the sailors who really deserve it. Orlin, though, thought that maybe if he got one of those, that maybe his men would respect him. Strong-arm the man into giving him one himself. Instead, all it did was spread rumors and, well, no one really likes having the Ink Master messed with. Got kicked off the ship. And now all he has is a tattoo of a Leviathan on his arm to remind him of all of his mistakes.
Oh, very interesting. There it is. My son did mention something about the Orlan chap messing it all up, but he didn't quite go into more detail. So thank you very much. Yes. Do you reckon he's here tonight? This chap.
I've heard he's after he left the forces, left the ships, he just became a dilettante, a druggie. Be surprised.
Yes. See, I had. Now, don't tell anybody I told you this, because I know an old innocent lady like me, she's not to know these things. But I heard, as I was walking down the street yesterday, I had these two little urchins who were talking, and they were mentioning something about this thing called a raid with an eance at the end. Yes, that one.
Radiance.
Yes, that's the one. And he was saying
I don't
that
partake.
this Rowan chap was all tied up in it. Well, talk about a fall from grace.
I don't know too much about it. I try and keep my head above the drugs and under a bottle.
Yeah, right, well, that's perfectly, that makes sense to me. Yes, Aldo, my dear friend. Aldo, have you anything to say on the matter?
No.
No, okay, we'll work on your conversation skills later, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, why don't you two just, chat for a moment? I just need to go quickly wet the old palate. I'll be right back.
Okay. Aldo sits down at the table next to Ink and just sort of looks really awkward, and you see him try and talk and just look up and then look down back at his drink, and it looks kind of sad. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to head over to whoever's free, and I'm going to tell them that we're possibly looking for a guy that has a tattoo of a Leviathan on his arm.
All right.
So,
also,
there's a couple of us
has
at the bar.
Leviathan blood, so that the tattoo moves, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
Anyways, so you can tell that to everyone but Suri.
Right.
And I'll go back and I'll pick up my friend Aldo from his awful situation. And I'll continue just walking around the party.
Okay. What do you guys want to do with that information, if everyone has it?
So, yeah, can I do a Mind Palace thing where I go back into everyone that I've met so far and see if I find that specific image? So maybe identify specifically, did the guy with the rook have that, or did the drug dealer, the guy, Julius.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say I kind of want to say yes, but at the same time, it's most people are wearing clothes that would probably cover their arms for the most part. It might maybe it could poke out of the bottom, but you weren't looking for it. I don't think you would remember.
Well, that's why I was doing the whole Mind Palace thing, where you kind of go back into a memory, and even your peripherals, so you can see a little bit.
Yeah, is the Mind Palace a thing that your character can do?
I mean, he's a spider. He's a mastermind. The foresight thing.
All right, but actually, I'm gonna say all of you guys have this information right now. Suri is about to partake in this drug. Is there anything that you would like to do? Interrupt that, or are we going to play through this scene?
Well, one thing that I was going to try to do is
I'm going to interrupt it.
Okay.
I'm going to march in there. I'm going to...
Okay.
Is there... I'm going to scan the room. What do I see?
You see Suri at this couch, with Julius handing her this vial that is already uncorked, and it looks like she is about to inhale from it.
I close the door.
Okay.
I move forward.
Hello, sir.
I punch this man.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a
Rack
what
or a
is it?
skirmish?
Skirmish. Roll me a skirmish.
That makes
right.
my job easier.
This is a controlled situation because he's definitely not expecting it, and the effect I'll say is standard right now. But if you wanted to push yourself to make it great, you could probably knock him out in one hit.
You know what? Let's get pushed.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're getting this
let's
happen.
get down to this. 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you not have points in skirmish?
I have 2 in skirmish.
Oh, that's right. You were pushing yourself to okay, right? You're pushing yourself.
Yeah, I wanted the effect. Oops, so does it kill him
Yeah.
instead?
Hey! That would be a hell of a complication. No, you go forward to punch him, and like he just instinctually backs up his head, and your fist goes like right in front of his face. You like skin his nose a little bit, and he like, oh God, why? And he like immediately stands up. I don't know what he does with the 2 vials in his hand. I guess just sort of drops them. And like is just yelling, "Security! Someone! Anyone!"
I rip his mask off.
I come running in, and I'm just like, "What's going on here?"
Very quickly, is there
sorry.
is there an area that we haven't been to yet that is sort of accessible to guests? Or maybe even not? Somewhere we haven't yet snooped into.
There's like the kitchen. There's like behind the bar. There's restrooms like over like on the side of the bar as well. Ladies, men's, everyone else.
Okay, I would just say that once that the commotion goes on, Smoke starts sort of making the round, looking for that tattoo, checking toilets. Let's also go to the restrooms. Let's see if someone's powdering his nose, and that is why we haven't seen him yet.
Okay. But let's resolve this scene right now. So you walk in, you're like, "What is going on here? This man just tried to punch me," and he's looking very nervous and like kind of trying to like get by you, but I think you're probably blocking the way out still.
This
And
man,
I'm also in the doorway.
this man tried to smack a fly. He thought I assaulted him.
You rip off his mask, by the way, and you see, I don't know, a very average Akaroshan face. His eyes are a little bit wide, and he's like a very strong brow.
I do not know this man.
Yuri is going to just take a like wild leap with this and go like, "Orland Rowan, is
What?
that you?"
No. Why'd you take off my mask? This is an anonymous affair. And he like tries to like grab it back from you, but definitely can't.
Was he lying when he said no?
He is not Orland Rowan. Yeah, you can tell by just asking. He's and from his response, he's not lying. He's not Orland Rowan.
I greatly apologize for my friend. Let me see them out. They're very aggressive about flies. Deadly in those parts. And I will escort Mullock out, having not
They
done
are a
drugs.
sin before the Emperor.
This way.
All flies are sins before the Eruvian Emperor.
He's very passionate about these flies.
Are you taking the Radiance, by the way?
No, I have not taken.
He dropped the vials that he dropped. Oh no, I mean like the vials that he dropped. Are you picking
Yeah,
them
you should
up,
slip it
or
into your
Oh,
little...
yes.
Yeah.
I will. Yep. Cool.
Okay. You can
So I've
drop
got the poison,
too.
I've got radiance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, roll me a sway to see if you can get out of here. This is risky standard.
Okay.
Now's the time to push yourself because this is coming
Yeah,
to an
I'm
end.
pushing myself. So we have. We got like a 5. We got a 5.
Okay. So he's kind of flustered by you like asking his name and everything enough that he just sort of lets you get by. But at the same time, he's not just going to let you leave. So he's running out of this room and he's looking for some sort of help. But you are free of him for the moment. What do you want to do? And I guess actually let's resolve Petra right now. You go and kind of look into the bathrooms. If you go into the ladies' room, it seems like fairly average for what you'd expect. There's like one girl who's like puking in the bathroom and someone holding her hair back.
Thank God.
There's
Usual Saturday night, Sunday night.
yeah, there's a long line leading from there. If you try and poke your head in the men's and others rooms, it looks like kind of similar scenes. There's like in the men's room, there's actually in the others room, there's one person who is just kind of standing there. It kind of looks like they're hiding out maybe, but they don't look like particularly regal. They're just kind of there.
I have an idea, Petra.
Yeah.
If like, okay, so let's say we do flashback to when we learned the information about the Leviathan blood in the ink. I say, Smoke, perhaps you could sense this this tattoo's ink by connecting with the ghost field, and then we could find this particular tattooed individual. And so
Speedy, I can right back to you. Would something like that be possible?
Maybe. It would require an attune check. It's not just sensing a ghost like your ghost mind would allow.
Right.
You can try to find it. Yeah.
So maybe that's why she went off to room to herself as well.
Yeah.
Well, I would probably use that when I come back into the main room or the main area, since I haven't found anybody back there who does
I'll also say that like with your ghost mind ability, for the record, the Rook and the Duchess were both glowing. I think I said that already though. That guy in the bathroom, or the person in the bathroom, they also had a faint glow about them, but it was different. But as you kind of attune, you don't sense the Leviathan tattoo on them. Attune to try and find it.
So are you cut out there for the second?
Oh yeah, you can roll your attune to find
it.
the Leviathan. Yeah, roll your attune.
Okay.
Push yourself, take a devil's bargain, anything like that.
Yeah, actually, I'm taking a bargain, so I want to keep a couple of stress.
Okay.
Oh wait, so then it's
So devil's bargain.
Well, I wouldn't even have needed that. I just rolled 2 dice, 4 and a 5.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I can still.
Yeah. Nah, I mean you rolled 2 dice, so it's fine. You scan the room and you kind of have to walk around. You want to kind of get a closer look at people's wrists. You imagine that it might be faint, so you have to like kind of get close. And as you make it back over to the Rook and the Duchess, you notice under his arm that there is a faint Leviathan-esque essence coming off of it. Ink,
okay, and then
ink,
what
by the way, has a symbol.
What I would do then is sort of I'm walking around, cane in one hand and a glass, something to drink in the other, and then I would walk past them and then pretend that I have a little bit of a not feeling well, and I drop the glass so that it makes a nice.
Can I say that I'm there with her, that I've joined her now at this point?
Yeah. I will say though that because you were only rolled a 5, that as you do this, they do kind of notice you like looking and like checking out the arm. Also, this person who is hiding in the bathroom, they seem to have followed you out. It doesn't, or they walked out after you and seem to be walking in the same direction, but it's not really clear.
So let's say this. So they all notice me sort of looking, not super stealthy about that, and then I do the whole, I'm feeling woozy, I'm dropping the glass so that my crew pays attention, and I mean, Whisper will be close to me, but as I sort of pretend to take care of that, apologize, I will also notice this guy who followed me, and I take a closer look at him. I don't recognize him. The guy who followed me
doesn't seem familiar at all. Yeah, he doesn't look as fine as most of the other people here. It really looks like he's just trying to blend.
So if Whispers is the closest to me, he would probably get it.
Like,
sort of. We go all the way back to our childhood, so we probably have little eye, so to make him understand that he's a target and to let the others know. Or probably the target. Let's just clarify.
I like,
kill everybody.
Oh, darling, let me get you some towels to wipe that up. I'll be right back. Sorry for all the trouble. And I go off, and that's when I inform everyone, our target is there. His name is the Rook. The one in the Raven mask. with the fan.
Okay,
Signal.
we have 7 minutes to kill the Rook.
Yeah, 7 minutes.
And
All right.
Right.
Mabel, you bum rush him. I'll just pour the poison down his throat. Let's go.
I'll drag his spirit with us.
Okay, I would like to suggest a flashback in the interest of time. As we discussed all of this, how it could go down, how it might not go down. Well, Smoke at some point would have said, what if we have to move really fast? I could provide cover, and you would understand when I say that I mean my signature move, which is to actually produce intense fog.
Yes, Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, the Flying Dutchman, Whispers. So I just dropped that, and you all would know what that means, and then would have looked questioningly at you if you would agree to something like that, because it could go south if I do something like that. But would all of you agree to something like that, like me just producing intense fog in any kind of situation where we need to escape, get out, or move fast?
And we could go out through the servants' quarters, because I know the way.
Yes.
And
But
I'd
we have
like
to
to, I'd
escape like the drug did it, and not the people that created magic fog and then ran away.
I would like to suggest a double flashback. Ooh. So we came up with that plan, like, if things hit the fan, like, this is our plan. And I would say that I want to have Suri, when she was doing her servants kind of sweep, I would give her a device that would cause the lanterns, or like maybe she strung out the lights, I'd cause them to flicker. So we could, like, at a signal or at some sort of activation, we can cause the lights to flicker, this fog effect to get all crazy, and like make it seem like possession or some sort of crazy ghost effect is happening.
Yeah. Is the ghost thing still about that you did, Petra? The thing that was in the ball and then was looking at me for whatever reason?
Yeah.
So it's still there?
You don't see it anymore.
Oh. Goodbye, ghost.
Okay, then we have about 5 minutes left, so I'm just gonna do the thing, and because I have Tempest.
Take a stress for the flashback. Whispers, take 2 stress for that flashback with the lights, and you can go ahead and do your Tempest thing to make.
Can I take
the
a stress
fog
just because
effect
we have 5 minutes and I'm scared?
Do I need to roll?
Who do I roll
just said,
fist at?
It just says you can push yourself to do that. So what is it connected to any specific type of other action? Like, is it?
If it's just push yourself to do it, then just take the stress. You do it.
And then so I roll one die.
You don't have to roll. What? You don't have to roll.
Oh, I don't have to. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It just does it.
So Mulek, you punch. Zuri stuffs the poison and the radiance in his mouth, and the fog makes it so that no one sees this, and the lights distract. That's the plan.
See, and I'll be able to get through the fog because I have the fan.
All right, so all of that stuff happens. The fog starts, the lights begin to flicker. These two people are, it's the Rook and the Duchess standing next to each other, and this fog starts to emanate and engulf them, and they look around kind of concerned. What's happening? Who's going next? Who's poisoning them, or whatever?
Yeah, it's fairly widespread. Not throughout the whole room, but centering on them and good radius around them.
I take the Duchess aside and it's like, oh, be careful, it's dangerous here. Like, to separate her from the Rook a little bit.
Okay, go ahead and roll sway real quick. A risky standard.
Oh fuck, I don't have any sway.
Right, well, you're defaulting.
Can I help? Can I help with command? I'll take a stress.
What? Yeah, you can help him out. You
all right, I'll help.
Pay one stress.
I part the fog and say, "Get out of here."
Right, perfect.
Like it. So I roll 1 dice or 2?
Because he's assisting, you roll 1.
Okay. That's a natural 1.
No.
All right.
She's just gonna die with him.
She like pushes you off of her and is like, "What are you doing?" And
she's not safe.
She's not like strong enough to like really do anything damaging, but like she's pushing you away. And I'm going to go ahead and use the natural 20 that someone gave me a long time ago to say that a security guard has come up and found Mulek and grabs him by the shoulder, turns him around, and just tries to grab him basically. And you're going to need to you're going to take 2 points of harm unless you want to resist.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, so you're taking 2 levels of harm? Okay, cool. So, yeah, he basically, this guard basically...
So, wait, can I use my Battleborn to reduce harm?
I think so.
Yeah, it gets to harm 1.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're strong enough, but like this person basically has like a baton, and they hit you in the back of the knee, and you kind of buckle a little bit at the pain of it, and you're bruised. Take level 1 harm, bruised, and but you are still standing and fine. Who's trying to poison this dude? I guess he still has the Duchess on his
jump
shoulder.
on his back. Hold him.
Yeah,
Zuri
is really just going to like run through, using the fan to get rid of the fog out of her own way, so that she can kind of see, and just like. Just basically rip open the jaw, pour with the drug as well, and then just...
It's an inhalant, but yeah, just stick it up his nose, sure.
Oh, yeah.
You can do that. Roll me a finesse.
One vial up his nose, bit of poison,
plug the other nostril. Yeah, so roll me finesse. I think this is at this point desperate, great.
Oh yeah. But
wouldn't the fog assist? Wouldn't the fog assist her in any way because he is confused
you're right. Risky
and can't
because
see really well?
Risky because of
and also, we're all doing this to set her up. So does that get her an extra die?
Well, we don't need it because I got a 6.
I'll say that the fog is also an assist. So what?
Nice.
I got a 6, a 5, and a 5. So we're good.
Excellent. All right, complete success. Yeah. You open up this vial and you just like close one of his nostrils and he can't help but just breathe in. And so all he does, you see his eyes just sort of light up for a moment behind this black raven mask. And you see him break out in a smile as he's just fully elated. And a few seconds later, just and he falls to the ground, collapsing dead before you.
She's going to make sure to remove the vials before pooping out.
Yeah. as he falls to the ground, smoke, you can sense his spirit kind of starting to rise and separate from his body, but there's something else there too.
Here.
The impact of this this radiance drug on him, another spirit starts to emerge from it as well, and then another, and then another. As these sort of swirling, like 4 ghosts sort of rise up from his body and just sort of spread out all over the place.
So they were basically captured inside of him?
Wow!
Or in him, at least, in him.
Yeah, they were in some way inside of him. Yeah. It seems like it's in some parts of Radiance, but yeah.
Thinking quickly, I pull out the Spirit Bane. I think this is what it does. The Spirit Bane charm, and I basically toss it out. And on the other hand, a Slumber Essence, vial of Slumber Essence, and I splash it on the Duchess, the security guard, and I say, "Let us go. Our job is done."
Get it.
Yeah.
So these spirits start to fly off, and you guys all sort of make your escape. Do they tell you anything?
Do they tell me anything? No. Do they seem happy that they're released?
It's hard to tell. They just sort of fly out. They're free, whatever it is. But you guys all make your escape outside of this, out from the kitchen, and you go back to your lair. And from what you hear from Crypt the next day, he was in fact killed. You were successful in that part of the mission. His spirit was able to escape, unfortunately. But, the confusion around the number of spirits which came from his body was the perfect cover, and you all were able to successfully make people believe that it was in fact this drug of Radiance that was responsible for his death. Now, whether his spirit might be able to tell a different story, that's a tale for another day. But you guys all earn like 5 coin or something for completing this mission.
Yay!
And
20 XP points. Woo!
You murdered that man.
We did it the last minute.
We did it in the second.
Yeah.
We spent
So we are
3 hours and 45
we are
minutes.
over our time. The next
group
group has to get started.
All right.
But this was awesome. Thank you guys so much for playing. I'm glad to have a chance to play with all of you lovely people. This was super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the masquerade ball. That drug, by the way, Radiance, it is made from the ghosts of people pre-cataclysm. And so it is basically an essence of the memory of the sun. It is...
Oh, wow.
And so that's where all of that like warmth and light comes from. But you guys did awesome. I'm glad that we were able to do this and pull it off just barely in time. So let's go around and do outros for everyone. Tell us really quickly what you thought and where we can find you online, and we can go over to the next person. Let's start with Ninja Pseudo. Whispers.
Yeah, so I'm Ninja Pseudo online, and I write stuff. I do all kinds of other things. This is my first stream, so that was exciting. Thank you, Speedy, for letting me join here. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you, man. I'm glad that we played Blades in the Dark on a boat together at PAX Unplugged last year, and maybe we'll do it again. 4.
It's me, 4. I, as you might have heard, play Mouse Guard. I am the Mouse Master. I'll be having a campaign going on that on my channel soon. I also do a podcast called Queers and Quaggots. It's where we look at the monsters from the Monster Manual, and we're like, whoa, let's make it super gay and fun and whoa! And that's on Saturdays. Come visit on my Twitter on the Forefronts to know when we're doing it. We're gonna have fun.
All right, Madam Gandalf.
Hi, I'm Madam Gandalf. I really love Blades in the Dark. I used to play this with Speedy and Louise, and it was so much fun to come back and like play it once again. But yeah, I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. I do have a D&D show as well on Wednesdays. It was set in the world of The Witcher. But yeah, we do a little bit of everything: cooking, variety of games, singing, pub quizzes, little bit of everything in my Green Dragon Tavern. So come by and have a drink on me, and maybe we can have a good time. Good time. Everyone's welcome.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Madame and Louise.
And I have a drinking problem.
Hello, I'm Louise. I no more, no less on Twitter. It's great. Twitch is in my age of more. That's me in the chat. There I am. I go. I Twitch things. I tweet things. Things are great. Life is good. Having a great time. Blades.
Perfect. Excellent.
Nailed it.
Flawless. Mabel. All right, Petra.
Hey everybody, you can find me on Twitter. I'm going to post my Twitter handle in the chat in a second. Yeah, this was my first time playing Blades, and I'm absolutely hooked, and I could feel that there was so much more going on and so much more to know than what you can find in the free material. So I need to find out everything. And yeah, it's been nice. It was nice to be back on Encounter role-playing. It's been a while, over a year, I think. I'm mostly being weird, doing weird stuff on Unmade Gaming at the moment. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm glad to have introduced you to the system. And I hope there are some people in chat who were introduced to the system here as well, and we'll give it a shot. Blades is absolutely my favorite game to play. As for me, I'm Speedy. You can find me online at Not So Speedruns on Twitch and Twitter. Whenever I play video games, I play some tabletop games, trying to get my game together, hopefully with Blades soon, where I'm DMing. You can also find me, I run a community called Cast Together of streamers for mental health. We're running a charity stream next week for World Suicide Prevention Day. We're going to be a 24-hour stream next weekend. There's going to be D&D in that. Grant Ellis is going to be running games. Marcy Villano is going to be running games for Cypher System. It's going to be a super fun time, and it would be wonderful if you guys could follow Cast Together on Twitter and Twitch and be there for that. It's going to be awesome. And it's for an absolutely amazing cause that I am very passionate about. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out here. We'll wrap things up. There's going to be another giveaway going on right now as we switch games. Hopefully we don't have to spend too much time switching games because we want to get to them doing stuff. I'll stop talking now. Thank you guys so much. We will see you all in like 5 minutes or whatever. Bye.
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 I don't know when this
I'm just going
stream
to keep
switches.
awkwardly
Someone else-
waving.
There it is.
There we go.
Yay!